Turn your preparation into a cornerstone for reaching the top of the civil services selection list. Get ready for the final personality test with the Vision IS Personality Development Program for the UPSC Civil Services Examination 2024. The program offers in-depth depth analysis sessions with senior experts and faculty members, realistic mock interviews with ex-bureaucrats and educationists, interactive sessions with toppers and serving bureaucrats, personalized performance evaluation and feedback. At Vision IS, we prepare you to excel in areas like communication, current affairs, critical thinking and more, essential for the UPSC CSE final interview. The UPSC CSE arena is an ever-evolving space where staying up to date becomes as crucial as maintaining a thorough preparation. With strategic planning and holistic coverage for exam syllabus, Vision IS Delhi presents GS Foundation course. Avail analysis and integration of current affairs with GS syllabus. All India test series with an innovative assessment system, inculcating post-test analysis, discussion, all India ranking, and more. Explore the holistic learning modules intrinsically designed for the ideal aspirant.
So hi, good afternoon. I hope all well. Some of you I'm seeing for first time. So how many of you are from the new batches who didn't had any class of mine? So you two people, okay. And anybody from last year batches? Okay, these all two. Acha, okay. So chalo, all good. So we are starting with this ancient, medieval and art and culture session. Last 10-year paper. Let me connect the questions with our tab. So last year also we conducted this session, but then last year the scope or basically the number of the years was just 7. So we discussed 7-year paper, but then this year 3 more year paper we have included. And so this year 10-year paper we are taking into the consideration, and in 10-year paper, so we'll see that how many questions are there from each section. So what I have done, the total number of the question, as you can see that 107 is there. So today I have listed 33 questions, then 33 tomorrow, and remaining will be doing on the last day. Chalo, let's start with it. So I hope you must have seen paper. मतलब कुछ तो पेपर देखा हो ना, इस साल का देखा होगा, पिछले साल का देखा होगा. So let's start with some key analysis of this last 10-year paper, that from which area, and they have asked more number of the question and what type of the question have been asked. तो एक सबसे पहला very first thing is that as you can see total number of the question 107 in last 10 year. Ancient history 16 questions. Then medieval is 28, but medieval may you understand majority of these questions that these are half divided. So medieval may it comes that what is there, Delhi Sultanate, Mughal period, but regional dynasties are also there, and regional dynasties like Kakatiyas, Hoysalas, then Rashtrakutas. So many such regional dynasty, they are also Vijayanagar kingdom, they are also the focus of it. And art and culture makes your bigger chunk of the questions. That is 63 questions from art and culture, which makes every year you can expect at least 6 to 7 questions in art and culture. And if we combine these two, so that comes around ancient or medieval ko combine karne pe 4.4. So 4.5 questions is the average. And let's look at the areas from where they have asked. So as far as ancient history is concerned, in last 10 years there has been 3 questions from the Indus Valley civilization, meaning कि हर 3 साल के बाद एक expect कर सकते हो. Maurya, majorly they have asked from the rock inscription and the edicts of the Maurya. So the number is little more. So Maurya is important area. Then Guptas also. Majorly the Gupta question has been related to their administration and then significant places. So these places are basically Paleolithic sites also, Chalcolithic sites also. Their names you need to enlist. But then there is a trend in it, I'll let you know later on. Then come to the medieval history part. So in medieval history part, early medieval kingdoms. So do you know that when we say that the beginning of the early medieval age, invasion of Muhammad bin Qasim in 712 is considered as the beginning of the early medieval. So by 712 already the death of Harshvardhan has happened and Pushyabhuti dynasty has disappeared from India. So what has happened, that early medieval kingdoms are basically 3 big kingdoms which emerged in the erstwhile ruled areas of the Harshvardhan, which are Pratihar Gurjar, which were there in the Rajasthan western part, then Pal dynasty of the eastern India, and Rashtrakoot of the central India and Karnataka. So they are the early medieval kingdoms. Then comes the Delhi Sultanate. Then regional kingdom. So regional kingdom, the classification has been made in such a way that I can keep it over here also. So regional kingdoms mein jaise there are many Rajput rulers who are emerging in the middle part of the country, and so is the northwestern and northern part of the country, which includes the Rajput dynasties like Chauhans, Parmars, then Chandels, then so these kingdoms. Then comes the Vijayanagar kingdom. Once again you see that Vijayanagar kingdom is equally similar to the Maurya period. So 5 questions have been asked from the Vijayanagar kingdom in last 10 years. So every second year you can expect a question from the Vijayanagar. Then Bhakti Sufi, यहाँ पे questions कम है Bhakti Sufi में. Mains में they do ask a question from the Bhakti Sufi. Then Mughal period. So Mughal period question, 4 questions were there, but if you look at the nature of the question, they were not difficult at all. Then it was a kind of a savior. And terminologies. So what is terminology? A term they will be giving to you and you need to identify the meaning of that terminology. Then, so for example, terminologies like Agrahar, Iripatti, Shramana. So it can be connected to this terminology, to the culture also, and to the some ancient terms also. Like last year, there were 2 terminologies they were asked. That one terminology was the Phanam, then nobody knew that what was the Phanam, and then one was the Orang. So terminologies they do ask. Then art and culture. It's all before you. What is the most important section which is visible to you? Buddhism and Jainism. 13 question. So 10 saal mein 13 question. What does it mean? That every year there would be at least 1 question from Buddhism and Jainism, and there could be 2 questions in some year. So that is one continuous thing. Then apart from it, architecture section, it is equally important in prelims and mains mein to bahut important hai. In fact, 70% of the question in last 7 years, they have been from the architecture in the mains examination. But in prelims also, they have asked a good number of the questions, 6 questions. Then music se 2 question. Dance. So dance includes classical dance and then also the folk dance. Then question related to painting are 4. And this literature portion, जिसमें आपको 12 question दिख रहे हैं. Actually, these 12 question, out of these 12, near about 8 has been asked in last 4 years. And last 4 years. So last 4 year has been maximum number of the questions from the literature. Then important places 7 questions, philosophy say 8 question, and then 16 question of the mixed nature. And so this is what is a general classification of the things which have been asked in last 10 years. Then these easy, difficult, chalo I'll just do the this exercise once again. So question, source, type analysis, that this is you leave. Let's go into the difficulty part. So ancient question, that easy, medium, difficult, we have divided into 3 parts. And as you can see that most of the questions of the ancient, 2 were easy, 5 were medium, and 9 are difficult. Similarly, more questions of the medieval are difficult. Then, so medieval में questions are more difficult, easy तो बहुत कम था. Art and culture, they have classified it difficult, but then you will find it more amenable. Then जहाँ पे तुम easily कर सकते हो. Here the classification is 32 with the general perspective, not with the perspective of what we do over here. Then those perspectives say it will come down to near about 15 or 16. Then so this is what is the general analysis of the paper. And this year में total 107 questions है. So what does it mean? Ancient, medieval, art and culture combine करके you can expect 11 questions in the prelims examination. अभी उसमें modern added नहीं है. And when you go into the modern, so 7 questions you can further add, and that's what makes it 18 questions from the section of the history can be asked in the prelims examination. So that is last 10-year trend. So modern will happen some other day. Let's come to the question. So I'm starting with the question. Should I? Then, so, and if you have any question related to the resources, if you haven't started with your ancient, medieval, art and culture preparation, so you can ask me right now. Then I'll go ahead with the this particular part. So resources क्या पढ़ रहे हो? If you have started, particularly for ancient and medieval, have you started any resource? Old NCRTs. Then, so old NCRTs में कौन सा? R.S. Sharma. I hope. ठीक है. अच्छा, चलो, let me ask you one thing. I'll go to the this page. Then this page is, so as it is visible to you, ancient medieval अगर जो रखूं, तो 9 and 22, so that is around 31 questions are very difficult, and 2, 5, 7, and 7 and 6, 13. So 13 questions are easy to medium, and 31 questions are difficult. Now I'll ask you a very pestering question. Then, will you be able to solve, if you really hell-bent that you want to solve all the questions of ancient and medieval, will you be able to solve all of them with your NCRTs? Yes or no? How much you can solve? The possibility, let me tell you, in ancient and medieval scenario is very different. Then, so scenario is very different. Scenario is that if you really want to solve, so you can solve only if you're very good in ancient and medieval. So with the reading or with the reference book that you refer, you can solve 50% if you're very good. And if you have not gone with the general resources, and then a little bit less, so you can solve at least one question. Preparation खराब है तो वैसे भी वो तो कोई भी नहीं solve करेगा. तो one question. But then I just want to tell you, I don't know that what will the success story of the people in this year exam. But then I happened to encounter 1, 2, 3, that few people who came just before exam and asking me question that tell me the resource of the ancient and medieval from where if I read, so I'll be able to solve all the 100% question of ancient and medieval. So obviously that it can't be said that 100% of questions you can solve, but then it can be said with some probability that 90, 85% you can solve. So I said to some of them that this is the resource that you can refer, but they were like, it is very bulky, it can't be done in this time. So then I also said to them that obviously you can't do it in this time, and it is a bulky resource, so don't go ahead with it. Then one of the student, he asked me that I want to do it, then tell me the resource. I told him the resource, and the resource is obviously very bulky. It is just before 1 month and 5 days were remaining in the prelims examination. But I said to him, I warned him, see that you will compromise your preparation if you go with this book, because it will take a lot of time, and then moreover, one reading will never be enough. Then, so one reading will never be enough, and you can better focus on the other areas like polity, economics, and then environment, where you can fetch better marks. But he was like that, sir, please tell me, I will do it. Then I told him, he covered the book. Okay? After 10 days, you will not believe that more than 1000 pages book and very small font, and it's a bigger book. And then he covered it, he made notes of it, and he came to me that I have completed it, I have written it, everything. So I said that, did you study anything else? He said, no, I only studied this. But then I was in a mood that I will not leave any stone unturned. And the paper came this year. It was the question, some of the questions were actually difficult then, but you know what was the saving grace for him? saving grace for him was this section itself. Not even a single question of his was incorrect. So just to kind of complete this talk कि NCERT पढ़ लो उससे हो जाएगा, I would never say, because उससे question ancient medieval के तो नहीं होते हैं. I would be very clear on it. I can say that कि in modern it helps a lot. In modern, क्योंकि modern में जो fact है ना बहुत straightforward है. It's not complicated like ancient and medieval. So if you ever want that you want to solve near about 80% to 90% of the questions of the ancient and medieval, so you have to go with that big resources. Then, and it will take time and cost benefit analysis pay. If you want it to be effective, so you will have to start your preparation a little early. Do you want to know the name of the resource? So name of the resource is Dr. Rupinder Singh. Her book, Ancient and Early Medieval India. Who is she? She is the professor of Delhi University and she is daughter of Dr. Manmohan Singh. So her book is the one which is favored book of UPSC in last 10 years. And जिस सवाल का जवाब कहीं नहीं मिलता है उस किताब में मिल जाता है. Then, तो ancient and medieval के लिए this is one of the best resource, but then take it with a pinch of salt. Why pinch of salt? Because it's a difficult book. Even it is prescribed for the people with the history optional, but even people with the history optional, they also feel that it is a dreaded book. Then, so if you start, the point is, आज महीना कौन सा है? 9th of October. Then, so still you have time. If you want to start with that book, if you start today, you will be in a very comfortable zone. Then, and revise it 2 times and try to create the notes of it. Or maybe not every part of it, but some part of it, you can create a note of it. So that way it will be helpful. And one more thing I will tell you, no matter whoever teaches you in the classroom program, they will not be able to cover these all because there are limitation of the number of the classes done. And then there are the other topics also, which are kind of that more optimum in the between. So they have to go with the optimum because extremes nobody know. So then you will have to do in this particular part, you will have to do little bit of extra from your end. Then मैं किसी NCERT का नाम नहीं लूँगा यहाँ पे क्योंकि ये जस्ट ना वो नॉर्मल टॉक हो जाता है, ठीक है, कि NCERT पढ़ लो, ये पढ़ लो, सब लोग वही गाना गा रहे हैं, ठीक है, और उस गाने से किसी का सोल्यूशन नहीं मिल रहा है. तो गो विद द उपिंदर सिंह, नो अदर बुक आई एम सजेस्टिंग यू, ठीक है. सो जस्ट लेट्स मूव टू द नेक्स्ट पार्ट. तो क्वेश्चन स्टार्ट करते हैं. वेरी फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन. So with reference to the difference between the culture of Rigvedic Aryans and Indus Valley people, which of the following statement are correct? Then there are other things also we need to discuss in this duration. Where is the pen? So understand, बहुत ध्यान से रखना, ठीक है, ये portion is and are, then correct, not correct. So many a times we miss it. Generally हमारा दिमाग कैसे काम करता है that we read it which of the following are not correct or which of the following are correct. But UPSC what it does, 3 सवाल, 3 questions they will get correct और अचानक से 4th question they are putting not correct and you are not able to see even if you know the answer, you mark it incorrect. So you have to be very careful. Let's look at the very first one. Rigvedic Aryans use the coat of mail and helmet in warfare, whereas the people of Indus Valley civilization did not leave any evidence of using them. So Indus Valley civilization 2600 to 1800 BC. Then advent of Aryans in 1500 BC, and that's what we call Rigvedic age. So 1500 BC onwards to 1000 BC is the Rigvedic age. So in the period of the Indus Valley civilization, we haven't come across any concept of standing army. Then, so if there is no standing army, so there is no use of helmet and there is no use of coat of mail. Then what is coat of mail? That you cover your body. Then that हिंदी में क्या बोलते हैं? रक्षा कवच on this particular part. Then so that is not used. While on the other hand, when you read about the Aryans were successful in India because of few things. First of all, that Indus Valley civilization के time पे there was no use of the horses. They were not aware about the horses. But then Aryans, or basically the Central Asians who arrived in India around 1500 BC, they brought horses and horses provided swiftness to their army. Then, so they provided swiftness to their army, and moreover, they were fully equipped with the bronze tools done. So they have created helmets and they have created mail coats done, which were defensive instruments they are using against Indians, and that's how they were successful in India. So statement 1, it is correct. Then let's come to the statement 2. Rigvedic Aryans knew gold, then silver and copper, whereas Indus Valley people knew only copper and iron. Now understand one thing. Rigvedic Aryans पहले बाद में जाएंगे, Indus Valley देखते हैं. Indus Valley people, so when it comes to the discovery of the first metal in the world, what was the first metal which was known to the humans? Copper. Where it was discovered? Any idea? So it can be a little bit of value addition also, that what we are discussing. So the first time copper was used by the humanity, that was in Mesopotamia, and the area was Syria. So Syria was in fact, when we talk about Syria has many first, it's very unfortunate that Syria is boiling right now, and right now क्या पिछले 20 सालों से चल रहा है. So it's unfortunate, but the Syria was considered as the cradle of the civilization, and Syria was the first area where the agricultural practices started. In the world scenario we are talking about, and so as the copper usage started from the Syria. Then, so copper was one of the initial metal which was used in the major civilizations of the world. Then, so in Mesopotamian civilization it was used, and so as the Egyptian civilization it was used, and contemporary of these two civilizations was the Indian civilization of Indus Valley. So copper was known to the people of Indus Valley, and then they also got tin from Afghanistan, and mixing it they created bronze. But then when it comes to Rigvedic age, so what is Rigvedic Aryan? Rigvedic Aryan period क्या होना चाहिए? 1500 to 1000 BC, and 1000 onwards to 6th century BC is the later Vedic period. So Rigvedic period is called as early Vedic period. Early Vedic period में भी लोगों को iron का knowledge नहीं था, ठीक है? They were not aware about the iron, and iron was first discovered around 1000 BC, and iron was first discovered in the world in India. Then, so the human beings came to know about the iron in and around 1000 BC, and moreover, the area is very interesting, that in which part of India it was discovered. So generally we can go with the Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, then these area, Karnataka, जहाँ पे iron है, but then here it was found in the western UP, and where in western UP, Atranjikhera and Jakhira. So iron was not known to any of them, either Indus Valley or the Rigvedic people. Then none of them. But later Vedic अगर जो यहाँ पे लिख दो, तो then it was known to them. As far as the gold, silver is concerned, so Rigvedic Aryan, they were knowing about these all. Even in the Indus Valley also gold, silver was known, because seals were found made from this gold and silver. Then, and gold was referred as Nishk during the ऋग्वेदिक पीरियड और अर्ली वैदिक पीरियड, एंड निष्क से शब्द बनता है तनिष्क, ठीक है? सो तन पर जो निष्क हो, दैट इज तनिष्क. देन, and meaning that the gold which is used on the body, that is Tanishq. That's how they derived the name. Then let's come to Rigvedic Aryans has domesticated horses, where there is no evidence of Indus Valley people having aware of this animal. That's a right statement. So 1 and 3. Now I just need to confuse you over here. This is the year 2017. मैं नहीं confuse कर रहा हूँ, UPSC ने confuse किया लोगों को. What was the thing that already we discussed that in the Indus Valley there was no knowledge of horses. But then दो resources हैं जहाँ पे कुछ उल्टा लिखा हुआ है. एक तो the one NCERT, Arya Sharma, ठीक है? So in Arya Sharma, that book was NCERT was compiled in 1979. उस time तक obviously there is still the phase of the discovery. So Arya Sharma, in one part of his book, he has written that there is a place in Gujarat, okay, and the place in Gujarat was Sarkatoda, and he mentioned that one unusual, okay, head part or head skull was found from this jaw was found from the Sarkatoda, and he said that maybe it is belonging to a horse. Then, so he concluded that might be possible that Rigvedic Aryans, or sorry, that Indus Valley people were knowing the horses. So he has used perhaps, then obviously he has gone with the caution, But later on, when the scientific analysis of that jaw was done, तो it does not belongs to the horse. Then तो एक ये information के basis पे लोगों ने ये लगा लिया कि Indus Valley people were knowing the horses. And another thing, that 2017 was the year, closer to this year, there was a movie which was released in Bollywood, Mohenjo-daro, Ashutosh Gowarikar movie, and then in the movie, Mohenjo-daro was based on Indus Valley civilization, and then the main protagonist of the movie, meaning hero, Hrithik Roshan, he is riding on a horse, too hai to jahan hai. Then now it is etched in the memory of the people. अब वहाँ पे movie में देख लिया horse तो अब paper में भी कर दो, ठीक है? So sometimes movies are sources of the knowledge. There is no denial in it that they are also sources of the knowledge, but then movies are made for the commercial purpose and the dramatization. So in dramatization, whatever they did, then if you consider that as the truth, so then you will not arrive at the answer. Then, so second incorrect, and third, as you can see, that 1 and 3 is correct. Then let's move on. Pehla question tha na ye? Just let's go to the next part. So this type of the question are basically what we said, that Indus Valley civilization 3 questions the. So this type of the question, it is common in state PCS examination. बहुत ज़्यादा पूछते हैं. And UPSC में भी once in a while they do ask that the sites of the Indus Valley civilization related question. So if you are well versed with some of the important sites of the Indus Valley, so then you can solve this question. I would never say that this question was difficult because all the sites were quite known. वो तो पढ़ने की ज़रूरत है हमें, ठीक है? So for example, so which one of the following is not a Harappan site or Indus Valley site? Chanudaro is on the banks of river Indus and in Pakistan, and it was a center of the bead making. It was bead making industry was created in Chanudaro. It's a common fact that we do in all the classes. So bead, what is bead? Moti. So moti natural, it can be natural also, and it can be artificially created also. So artificial creation industry was there. Kot Diji is also on the other side of the bank, basically left hand side. Right hand side bank of the Indus was the Chanudaro, left hand side was the Kot Diji. Then Sohgaura, I'll leave. Desalpur is a site of the Indus Valley which is in Gujarat. And if I have to create a map, so can't create because I'll have to go with this. I'll do one thing. I'll do one exercise. Just wait for it. Oh, it will not do. तो गुजरात का जो ऐसा part है ना, that like this way and this way. So on this area, upper arm of the Gujarat, on the lower side, Desalpur site is there. So Ran of Kutch ke just niche. Then, so Desalpur is a site of Indus Valley. Then, when it comes to Sohgaura, so Sohgaura is located in the Gorakhpur district of UP. Then, so Gorakhpur district of UP, I hope you know Gorakhpur district. नहीं पता है, योगी आदित्यनाथ district. Then, so that is the district, and from this district, that this Sohgaura place, a copper plate inscription has been found, and this copper plate is belonging from the Maurya period. So in this inscription, the language is Prakrit and the script is Brahmi. Script in which you write and the language in which you read it. Then, so Sohgaura, this question अभी पहली बार इन्होंने UPSC में 2019 में पूछा था, but I'm telling you, there is a very popular resource, those who prepare for state PCS examination. दे रहे हो exam? कुछ लोग तो obviously, and I would suggest even if you're not interested, you just give some of the state PCS examination. Most important is UP, you must not miss. Then the UP, why I'm saying, because a good chunk of the questions of the ancient medieval has, and art and culture also has a similarity with the UP PCS examination. Sohgaura has been asked 3 times in the UP PCS examination in last 10 years. And one of the resource which I'll refer to you, कि जहाँ से पढ़ सकते हो, it will be helpful in UPSC also. And for ancient and medieval, there is a resource which is called as Ghatna Chakra. Have you heard about it? Then, तो its का English version भी आता है, and past year paper you take, and then just go through the past year paper. It will be very helpful in examination. If you're not taking Upinder Singh, I know that's a difficult choice. So Upinder Singh अगर नहीं पढ़ना है, तो you can go with the Ghatna Chakra rather than NCRTs. Then NCRT पढ़ना अपने सुकून के लिए, but otherwise question solve करने के लिए we need to be real, then realistic. Then Who of the following had first deciphered the edicts of Emperor Ashoka? Then, so easy information, all the NCRTs have mentioned it. Max Muller was a German person, okay? George Buller was also German, and William Jones was founder of the Asiatic Society of India, and important was the James Princip. So James Princip deciphered the Mauryan inscriptions, okay, in 1837. But there is a catch to it. If I add in this question that he deciphered the inscriptions of Ashoka, then, and he also figured out that these inscriptions were written by Ashoka. Is it correct? Yes or no? Yes, it is not correct. Then he did not knew that whose inscription. He deciphered it. Then पढ़ लिया. But then how? So later on he got to know that these inscriptions are exactly belonging to Ashoka. But then this particular clue came from somewhere else. Where? It came from Sri Lanka. Then, so it came from Sri Lanka because that in the inscriptions of the Ashoka, either he is mentioned as Ashoka, some places, then 4 places, and then rest of the places he is mentioned as Devanam Piya Piyadasi. Then, so Devanam Piya Piyadasi, but not at one place both the things are mentioned. That who is Devanam Piya Piyadasi? If Ashoka is mentioned at the same point of time, so then it can be confirmed that it is the name of the Ashoka. So it is in the Sri Lankan text of Deepavams and Mahavams that it was mentioned that Devanam Piya Piyadasi is the name of Emperor Ashoka. So it was confirmed from there, and then we got to know that this name is belonging to Ashoka, and these all inscriptions are belonging to Ashoka. Then, so always remember, I expect this question to be there. किसी साल तो होना चाहिए, ठीक है? This question. And what are the name of the resources in Sri Lanka? Books, Deepavams and Mahavams. Then let's come to the next one. In which of the following relief sculpture inscription is Ranya Ashoka, meaning King Ashoka, mentioned along with the stone portrait of Ashoka? I would say this was a difficult question. But though the source is already there, Upinder Singh. It is mentioned in Upinder Singh in a very clear fashion, and then even the image is also given. So, और किसी भी book में ये नहीं mentioned है. Moreover, how many of you are that going in the direction of preparing with history optional? कुछ लोग तैयार कर रहे हो? A good chunk of you. So, I would strongly recommend to you that prefer Upinder Singh, not Romila Thapar. गलती से भी मत लेना. Even if you like her, then so don't take her book, because she is quite a leftist historian, and then she is not well taken in today's time. There was a time when her book was a bit relevant, and if you're writing answers from it, so you may get a good marks. But then right now, if anything you're writing from her opinion wise, so then it will not fetch you the marks. Then, so go with the Upinder Singh itself. So now understand. So this Ranya Ashoka, it is mentioned at the place called Kanganahalli, and where are these all places? अब एक चीज देखना, ठीक है? I just want to bring your notice to this trend. Last year कोई था session में? Anjali, you were there. Last year sessions? No, you were there. Online थे ना? तो I'll tell you कि मैंने क्लास में बोला था और उसी ट्रेंड पे आया है. एक बार ध्यान देना. This question that Sohagora is given in 2019. Then पीछे जाओ. When is Sohagora asked? Once again 2019. So एक information का 2 बार repetition होता है, और दूसरा इस year का paper, just take my words, this year paper, that is 2024 paper, just analyze it, all the options. Then 4 से 5 जितने questions हैं, just go into it. Each and every option, wrong option, just do the analysis of it. Meaning that कि उसके बारे में थोड़ा सा और information निकालो. Let's suppose Sohagora is mentioned, so just look at Sohagora, that what all information related to Sohagora is there. You will definitely find in 2025 paper, in one of the option, from one of the option, one question would be created, and that question, on the basis of that information itself, you will be able to eliminate the other things. Then this has been trend from the last 10 years. अभी धीरे धीरे हम इसमें देखेंगे. Then, so let's come to this part. what we were discussing. So Kanganahalli is Karnataka, Sanchi is Madhya Pradesh, then Sabajgadi, okay, is not in India, Pakistan, and then Sohgaura. So it is in Kanganahalli, which is in Karnataka, and there is a very famous Buddhist site in Karnataka, Sannati, and it is 3 kilometers from Sannati, where this portrait of the Ashoka is created, and relief portrait. तो एक word इसमें mention है relief sculpture. What is relief sculpture? Relief sculpture का मतलब ये होता है कि only the ventral part of the body would be there and the dorsal part is not created. See, relief का मतलब होता है कि when it is created on a rock. तो if this is a rock, तो पीछे की तरफ rock है, तो आगे का ही portion तो बना सकते हो. Obviously, you cannot create the back part. So that part where dorsal is not there, only ventral part is there, that is called as relief sculpture. So this was there in the Karnataka, and actually ये question भी ऐसे तो it was difficult, but then in 3 of the UPSC conducted exams, not civil services, from last 3 years this question was asked. So if anybody has little bit of observation about the CAPF exam and CDS exam, they could have solved this question. So one more recommendation, which according to my observation, that you must analyze last 2 CDS paper. Then CDS paper में जो भी history, art and culture के question है, there is always a possibility that 1 or 2 are asked in the prelims also. So just 2 CDS paper देखना है. I hope you know that 2 CDS happens every year. एक I think in November and second is in the February. So these 2 you analyze before the exam. So Kanganahalli was the option. Then let's come to who among the following rulers advised his subjects through this inscription. Then, so through this inscription, after discussion, I'll give you time to ask some question. So एक बार पढ़ो इसको. Whosoever praises his religious sect or blames other sects out of excessive devotion to his sect, with the view of glorifying his own sect, he rather injures his own sect very severely. It's very higher value also, and then very relevant also. And what you can say that there is that kind of a practical knowledge in it. Then, so what does it mean? कि बहुत ज़्यादा अगर जो अपनी बड़ाई करते हो, ठीक है? तो you are just harming yourself. Then, मतलब it's all about religious sects. So whose statement? It is Ashoka's statement. But Ashoka's statement through what? His rock edicts and inscription. So basically, this is mentioned in the major rock edict of the Ashoka, which is number 12. So rock edict number 12 of Ashoka, as we saw, 5 questions were there from the Ashoka period, Maurya period, and pancho ke pancho, all of them, they are related to some sort of inscription. So I don't think it is that a bigger task कि just 2-3 pages notes of the inscriptions happen, ठीक है? You just go through it then, and just kind of जब बाकी portions you are revising for 3-4 times, revise it 8-9 times. So it will be there in your memory. Then, so these questions are something which can be done, but लोगों से होता क्यों नहीं है? The reason is that you are little fearful of कि याद होगा या नहीं होगा. So you have to remove this thought कि याद होगा या नहीं होगा. Come up with a determination that no matter what happens, I will cram this resource. Then it will, with the positivity, you will be better placed in this exam. So जैसे एक बहुत simple से मैं बता रहा हूँ, ठीक है? Very often I have seen, मतलब तुम्हारे साथ भी होगा, ठीक है? I'm not criticizing, but this attitude we need to change. दैट लोग आते कि सर कोई छोटा सा रिसोर्स बता दो जिससे सब कुछ हो जाए, ठीक है? तो छोटा सा रिसोर्स से ना छोटा सा भी एग्जाम नहीं क्लियर होता है, ठीक है? यू आर प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर बड़ा सा एग्जाम, तो गो फॉर द बड़ा सा रिसोर्स. देन नॉट मेनी रिसोर्स, बट एटलीस्ट 1 कन्फर्म रिसोर्स यू मस्ट हैव कि उसको कम से कम ढंग से पढ़ सको, ठीक है? सो डोंट एवर थिंक ऑफ कि बहुत कम पढ़ने से, बहुत कम करने से भी हो जाता है. ऐसा थॉट प्रोसेस लगाओगे तो फिर देन इट विल बी डिफिकल्ट इन द एग्जाम. You don't need to multiply your resources, but then you must have a confirmed resource where you are reading each and every portion of the syllabus. So this was the rock edict number 12 of Ashoka, in which he has mentioned. And what is this? Dhamma. Okay? What is Dhamma? the moral ethical code of conduct of Ashoka. And when it started, when Ashoka has fought Kalinga war in 261 BC, and then after, as it is said, that near about 1 lakh people died in the Kalinga war, and after that there was a change of heart. But how this change of heart happened? When Ashoka has seen the nearby river at Dhauli in Odisha, and river name was Daya. Daya river was completely blood red, and Ashoka did not felt good about it. He's asked that what is this? He was a bit confused. So people said that this is what you have done, the massacre of the people, and it is their blood which is visible in the river. So that's the moment there was a guilt with Ashoka, and then he decided to change his policy of Bheri Ghosh to Dhamma Ghosh. What is Bheri Ghosh? Military annexation policy, matlab fighting policy, and to the Dhamma Ghosh, socio-cultural annexation, in which he will be promoting moral ethical code of conduct or the doctrines of the Buddhism. So this is Dhamma, which is mentioned on the major rock edict of number 12. Then, so let's have a look at this one. So site related questions होते हैं, and those who have history optional, you also be prepared for site related question, because 20 marks का question, I think it is related to the sites, and it's mathematical. If you know it na, तो out of 20 you can get 20, and but then some of the sites they give little bit difficult sites. So in history optional also it is important. Now consider the following pairs. Site of Ashoka's major rock edict. अब देखो लगातार ये questions चल रहे हैं अशोका के, ठीक है. 2020 एक year छोड़ दिया, next year once again. Then, so for example, this year there was no question from the Ashoka's rock edict. You can expect next year. अगले साल expect करो. So now see that Dhauli. I told you the name, I told you the story because you remember Dhauli. So Dhauli is in Odisha, then where the Kalinga war was fought. Then, and Daya river is on the is in the Dhauli area itself. Then, so that first option is correct. Iragudi is in Andhra Pradesh, and Jaugada I have written over here. Jaugada is in Odisha, not in Madhya Pradesh. Then, and Kalsi is in Uttarakhand, not in Karnataka. Karnataka mein what all are there? Maski, Sannati, Kanganahalli. These are the major site. Then in Karnataka, Udagalam. So the list, see that you need to go with a resource where this is listed, that which all sites are there in a particular state. Then remember it, memorize it. These are not difficult questions, but these are fact binding questions. Then जहाँ पे fact थोड़ा याद करना पड़ेगा. तो rock edicts of the Ashoka, you must memorize it. We have created that here. I have created a list. Then. So 14 major rock edicts of the Ashoka. Kandhar is in Afghanistan. Then Sahbajgadi, Peshawar district of Sahbajgadi was previous में था, ठीक है. So it is in Pakistan. Mansehra, it's also in Pakistan. Kalsi, Dehradun. Girnar is Junagadh in Gujarat. Then Sopara. Sopara ऐसे याद करो जैसे मैंने याद किया था. Nala Sopara. Nala Sopara in Mumbai everybody knows. Then कुछ कॉमेडी भी देखा हो तो नाला सोपारा जरूर याद होगा. तो then so Sopara is in Mumbai, and then Dhauli, now you will never forget. Jaugada in Odisha, Iragadi in Kurnool of the Andhra Pradesh, and Sannati in the Gulbarga district, topmost district of the Karnataka. तो ये list याद कर लो. This would be beneficial. Then बीच में कोई सवाल हो तो बताओ. अभी थोड़ा controversial question पे आ रहे हैं. This is the controversial question. Any question? कुछ पूछना हो तो बताओ, बिना माइक के चलेगा, तुम लोग क्यों परेशान हो रहे हो, ठीक है. नोबडी, चलो ठीक है. तो आई विल गिव यू टाइम लेटर ऑन ऑल्सो. ये कॉन्ट्रोवर्शियल इसलिए है दैट यूपीएससी क्वेश्चन डिफर्स फ्रॉम द रिसोर्सेज. देन तो ऑब्वियसली आई वुड से दैट कि यूपीएससी मस्ट गो विद वन थिंग कि इस रिसोर्स को, मतलब इस क्वेश्चन को निल कर देना चाहिए. इट मस्ट बी निल. व्हाट इज दिस? It was a difficult question, not an easy question. According to Kautilya's Arthashastra, which of the following are correct? So Kautilya Arthashastra, we do give reference to Arthashastra in the ancient history, and so as you also read Arthashastra in public administration optional, okay? And so as you also read in pol science optional. But then obviously the entire Arthashastra you cannot go with then कि पूरा का पूरा Arthashastra पढ़ लो. Then apart from it, Arthashastra was the book of the public administration and statecraft. Then it was not the book of history. एक और चीज याद रखना कि it is not the book of history. Arthashastra written by Vishnugupta, whose original name is Vishnugupta, but then he was also called as Kautilya or Chanakya. So it is book of public administration. Moreover, Dandaniti is given in this particular book. So Dandaniti mein these all slavery wala type the things are given. So pehla, very first, a person could be a slave as a result of judicial punishment. Now this is the statement which is correct according to Arthashastra and all the resources who have referred to Arthashastra. UPSC ने इसको correct नहीं किया. तो UPSC has given it incorrect. Then no reason, मतलब कुछ पता ही नहीं अब तक कि why it hasn't given, because in Arthashastra clearly mentioned that one person could be a slave as per the judicial punishment. So this is called as, in Arthashastra it is written as a Dand Praneet, and in Dand Praneet, suppose that if you have been given, take a kind of punishment of slavery, so this is a temporary slavery. Then कि सपोज दैट दंड प्रनीत में तुम्हें 10 साल के लिए स्लेवरी में भेजा गया है. यू हैव बीन सेंट टू इन स्लेवरी इंस्टीट्यूशन फॉर 10 ईयर. तो आफ्टर द एक्सपायरी ऑफ द 10 ईयर यू आर फ्री. देन so that is there in the judicial punishment. It has been mentioned in all the sources, but UPSC did not mark it as a correct. Then if a female slave bore her master a son, she was legally free. This is also right. Then so basically slavery is something that कि one have to do. तो अगर जो बेटा पैदा होता है मास्टर से, तो he would be the slave or he will be doing the work of the mother. This is totally explained over there. So then she will be free. Then so that is a correct statement. UPSC also gave it as a correct statement. And if a son born to female slave, मतलब किसी और से, master से नहीं, ठीक है? So female slave was fathered by her master, meaning that he has taken the that hostage, or he has taken the parentage of that particular son. So then the son was entitled to the legal status of the master's son. Then so this is also mentioned. अब दोनों से related एक कहानी बता दूंगा तो तुमको याद होगा, ठीक है? So last ruler from the Kalashok dynasty before the Mauryas, because Chandragupta Maurya's time was the Kautilya, but उसके पहले these all things were there in the society. So the last ruler of the Sashanag dynasty, the first ruling dynasty in the Magad was Haryanka. Haryanka rule ended by 412 AD, BC, and then the Sashanag started. So Sashanag dynasty last ruler was Kakavarning or Kalashok. Kalashok had affair with that one of her slave, then his slave Padma, then, and he had a son with Padma, okay, and then after she was legally free. Then so she was legally free, and later on that son, he asked for the legal entitlement then with the Raja. Raja refused, and that's how he killed the Raja, and he went on to establish his own dynasty, Nanda dynasty, and his name was Mahapadma Nand. So that story is connected to both of it. Then but पहला भी करेक्ट था. अभी मतलब यूपीएससी को इस क्वेश्चन को ड्रॉप करना चाहिए था. I'll tell you one more thing, that before 2011 UPSC was not giving any answer. Before 2011, even till 2011, UPSC conducted the exam, and you will never know that your answer was right or not. You only know that you have cleared the prelims or not. Then so there was no system of getting that particular answers. Then So we'll tell you a little bit part of it. So there was that was the year that many people RTI pass हो चुकी थी, right to information, उसके बहुत पहले, and some of the people from the UPSC industry itself, they filed a case in the Supreme Court, and that's how in 2011, as per the instruction of the Supreme Court, UPSC started providing answers to the people who are asking it through RTI. Then I happen to be one of the person who got it from RTI 2011, and then I posted it on other media so that other people can also get benefit. So I think I happen to be first 4 or 5 people who got the answers from the RTI. So then उसके बाद से once again the instruction of the Supreme Court came, and 2012 onwards they started releasing the key. तो अब हमारे सामने आंसर आता है that what is UPSC answer and where there is a not so match. But earlier it was very difficult. People never knew that कि गलत किया है. Because once you know that this answer of yours was wrong as per UPSC, so you will, in near future, whenever that question would be asked, you'll never commit a wrong in that question. But that was a difficult phase. So understand. So अभी के time पे क्या है that the UPSC releases its answers only when the final result is over, and you cannot contest back. क्योंकि अगर जो ये question का answer तीनों सही है तो one can contest. But then since it is released after the exam process is over, तो retrospective कुछ भी नहीं होता है. So the new reform which UPSC must go with, that answers must be released immediately after the exam. Then so that if there is an anomaly, because all the state PCS examination, UP, Bihar, they release it. अगर तुम्हें लगता है कि answer उनके द्वारा provided it is not correct, so then you can contest it. Then, so that is one thing. So anyways, this is the only question. बाकी किसी question में कोई issue नहीं था, ठीक है? In last 10 years, this is the only question which has some issue. Then let's come to the 2019 question. With reference to the forced labor already mentioned कर दिया forced labor, and then the word विस्ती. But देखो गुप्ता पीरियड में विस्ती से क्लोजर कई सारे टर्म्स थे. There were many terms which are very closer to विस्ती, and the terms are विस्ती, वस्ती, वीथी. Then तो वस्ती is a category of the land. Then विस्ती is a forced labor, and वीथी is a province. Then तो one has to be little specific कि जब when you are reading, तो it is just like in English language there are many ways of many meanings and then many ways of the pronunciation of the one single word itself. So SUIT, ठीक है, SHU, SHOOT, SUITE, all of them pronunciation is very closer, but then all of them are different. So now let's have a look at which. So with reference to the forced labor in India during the Gupta period, which one of the following statement is correct? Correct पूछा है, और हमेशा ना एग्जाम में search for not correct, correct, ठीक है, दिमाग में बैठा के जाना that correct not correct I have to look into, ठीक है. It was considered as a source of income for the state, a sort of tax paid by the people. So here you will have to apply the logic that if forced labor is there, so obviously it's a source of income. If it is not forced labor, suppose if I say to you that do something for me and you will take the payment, then, but if it is forced labor, so I will not have to do the payment, then, so it is my income, then. So in this way, the first statement is quite correct, that it is a source of income for the state and sort of tax paid by the people. So people are paying this in form of the taxes. Then, so this was prevalent. Then moreover, second statement kya hai? It was totally absent in Madhya Pradesh and Kathiawad region of the Gupta Empire. Actually, it was practiced in these areas only. So Kathiawad and Madhya Pradesh only. Where is Kathiawad? Gujarat area. ठीक है? गुजरात में भी कौन सा इलाका? Kathiawad is Rajkot. Then, so Rajkot onwards. So there it was practiced. Then, now what about? So rest of the things are the that what? Correct. So this is correct, and rest of the things are not correct because it was practiced over there. Forced labor was entitled to weekly wages. तो forced labor ये तो अपने आप में contradictory है. जब labor ही force है तो weekly wages कैसे होंगे? Then the eldest son of the laborer was sent as the forced labor. जब बाप खुद ही जिंदा है, ठीक है, he can do the forced labor, so why he will send? Then it must be written that eldest son of the laborer was sent as a forced laborer after the death of the father. So that statement would have been correct. Okay? Now understand, this is also one difficult question. The source is Upinder Singh. ठीक है, there you can find the answer. No other book has mentioned it. Then NCERTs तो भूल जाओ, वो कुछ नहीं mention रहता है, ठीक है, बस नाम भर का है. और आजकल ना एक मतलब I would not say, some of the books it is quite okay. For example, that in environment and ecology you get more benefit from the NCERT then, rather than many big books which are there in the market then. But then not in each and every section you get the benefit. Then particularly ancient medieval में तो benefit नहीं होता है, ठीक है. Then let's come to the next question. With reference to the period of the Gupta dynasty in ancient India, the towns Ghantasala, Kadura and Chaul were known as. So this is a common question, very common question which you can find. Acha, can I tell you one more resource which is more effective than your NCERTs? अच्छा नहीं लगेगा सुन के लेकिन resource, but then it is effective. लगेगा कि मतलब a teacher who is teaching from last 14 years who has a lot of expertise in this field and he is suggesting that resource. बोलूं? सुनना चाहते हो? Lucent. Actually, it's very factual. It's very factual. मतलब those general studies, small compilations, particularly in history section, they are very effective. Then, so history section they are very effective. हाँ, to remember the facts it is difficult because they have not compiled the stories. They have just mentioned everything. Then, so this I found two places, that every place, this is so every places, okay? It is there in that book also, and then in normal history books, not in the NCERTs then. So Ghantasila, Kadura and Chaul were the ports, and ports ka question is one of the favorite question of UPSC. So last 10 year 5 questions have been related to the ports, meaning every alternate year you can expect a question from the ports then. So what you need to do, that whenever you are looking at, or studying any kingdom, okay, this exercise don't depend on the teachers itself, okay, या अगर जो classroom program में हो. So don't just over depend on them. You do exercise from your side also कि कोई भी साम्राज्य or any empire which has a coastal that touch also, just type in the Google that what were the famous ports of the Gupta, what were the famous ports of the Chola, Chera, Pandyas, then Rashtrakutas, Chalukyas. That's how you get it then. And one time exercise you have done, जितनी भी बार कोई भी एग्जाम प्रीलिम्स का देना हो स्टेट में भी, तो it will always be beneficial. So these were the ports of the, so Ghantasala, Kadura, Chaul. इसके अलावा भी Tamralipti was also the port of the Guptas then. So 4 important port, 2 were Tamralipti and Kadura was on the eastern side, and the Ghantasala and the Chaul were there on the western side then. So this is ports. Then this is also mentioned in, okay, that not, this is the question which was not mentioned in Upinder Singh. It was 2020 question. NCERT में तो वैसे भी नहीं होगा. This is mentioned at a resource which is called as Sodh Ganga. ठीक है, तो Sodh Ganga के articles कभी कभी government भी refer करते हैं, and then moreover Ministry of Culture also refers then, and they get the patronage also. So there is no clarity that from where this question came, but exact मतलब Sodh Ganga में तो था, but then generally people say कि news में था तो आ गया. ये भी एक बहाना हो गया आजकल के टाइम पे then, कि news में तो था तो आ गया. इतना भी नहीं आता है कि न्यूज़ में होता है तो आ जाता है, ठीक है. There are few things which do come from the news, but not over emphasization on it is correct then. So with reference to the history of India, the terms Kulyavap and Dronavap denote measurement of land, coins of different monetary value, classification of urban land and religious ritual. So basically measurement of land is the answer then, but then what used to be the original system, I just need to tell you a little bit about it, that in the beginning, okay, whenever the measurement was done, so you know what was the smallest unit of the measurement? Chawal ka dana, okay. So the rice pods, they used to be the smallest unit of the measurement then 10 units of the rice, then it comes to around that not 10, 25 to 30 comes around the angula then. So इसमें हमने mention किया angula, smallest measure, ठीक है, probably 3/4 inch it has mentioned, but उससे भी smallest is the rice measure, and then after hasta. So it's easy that elbow to middle finger के बीच में, ठीक है, that is the hasta. So elbow and the middle finger, that is the top. So this is hasta. Then adhavap. So adhavap is either 3/8 or 1/2 acre. Then dronavap, half to 2 acre. And kulyavap, 12 to 16 acre. And the last one is patak, which is 60 to 80 acre. Then so Pataka, it was called as Pataka, and Pataka was a region which was given to the zamindars. Then कि 60 से 80 एकड़ के आसपास में important officers were given Pataka. So these were the terms. That Pataka as a term is mentioned in Upinder Singh, but then rest of the terms are non-existent in that. So difficult question. Now just understand, when these type of the questions would be there कि बहुत डिफिकल्ट लग रहा है एग्जाम में, व्हाट यू नीड टू डू, हमें लालच तो होता है, हम इंसान हम सब लालची होते हैं, ठीक है, कि लालच हर जगह में होता है कि क्वेश्चंस में तो और होता है एक और कर लेते हैं, ठीक है, हो सकता है इससे करेक्ट हो जाए, बट देन यू हैव टू पुट अ रिस्ट्रेन ऑन दिस बिहेवियर दैट एक और कर लेते हैं. सी इट्स नॉट अ गेम देन वेयर you win or lose, it does not matter. It is a matter of your career, then whereby leaving one question may give you little bit advantage rather than attempting that. And as you see that the cutoff has gone very low. Last year, इस साल का तो cutoff बढ़ेगा, but then last year if you see, what was the cutoff? 76 marks, which is not even, 76 is 38%. Then उसके पहले 85 marks. Before 85, it is 87. Then 90, 92, 92, then 96. So from last 7 years, UPSC cutoff has not crossed 50%. What is it? What it is indicating? The paper is very difficult. And when the paper is very difficult, so it is your restraint which will help you in clearing the exam rather than being greedy about attempting the question. Then, so if these type of the difficult question, particularly ancient and medieval में mistake मत करना. You can take a risk in polity, economy, ठीक है, or even I would say that geography में भी ले सकते हो, but ancient medieval में मत लेना. Art and culture ले सकते हो, but then don't take it over here. Here either you know or you don't know. Then that's it. So in this situation, consider that question as a drop question. Then don't attempt it. So this is not a question which is to be attempted until and unless you have some sort of kind of vague idea about it. Then, so let's move on to the next part. Interesting question. From the decline of the Guptas until the rise of the Harshvardhan in the early 7th century, which of the following kingdoms were holding power in northern India? Then, so first of all, whenever you are doing these type of the question where the centuries are mentioned, you exactly write, if you remember, that what was the decline period. So by what time complete decline of the Guptas have happened? 550 AD. Then they have the complete decline has happened. And Harshvardhan rise. So Harshvardhan became the ruler around 603. Then so 603, before that his father and his brother were the rulers. Both of them were dead, and then after he became the ruler. So it is asking that somewhere around 550 से 600 के तक में who were the rulers. So first is written Guptas of Magad. What is it? That when the Guptas were defeated, so Guptas original habitation center, can you tell me the capital of the Guptas originally? बताओ. Guptas were originally from Prayag. ठीक है? Originally from Prayag, and then their another domain was Ujjain, Avanti. Then so Ujjain से Avanti के बीच में their capital used to transfer. But then see that generally क्या होता है, लोग people go with the perception that Mauryas and all Haryanka, Nanda, ठीक है, Kalashok, ठीक है, Sashunag, all the dynasties were from the Magad. Then so people do consider that Guptas were also originally from the Magad. No, they were from the Prayagraj. Then after their initial capital was the Prayagraj, and then the later capital became the Avanti or Ujjain. So now what has happened, that when they have been defeated in the Prayagraj area, and by whom they have been defeated? Hunas. Okay? So Hunas were coming from the Central Asia and they were invaders. So they are pressing them, and that's how Guptas are moving towards the Bihar. So now they have gone to Magad, okay, in Bihar in 550 AD. So Guptas would be there. Parmars of Malwa, okay. Parmars of Malwa, who are they? So understand that by the end of the 9th century, okay, many Rajput rulers have emerged in North India. Rajput, और उसमें से some of them they call them as a Agnikul Rajput. So Chauhans of Ajmer, then Parmars of Malwa, then Chandels were Chandravanshi. They were not Suryavanshi. Then Chalukya Solanki of Gujarat, then Tomars of Delhi, then Gehdaulas of Kannauj. These were the Rajput dynasties. So ये सारी Rajput dynasty, their time period is from 900 onwards to 1100 के बीच में majority of them are emerging. Some of them in 900, some of them in 1000 or 1100. So this is the time period of this Rajput dynasty. So Parmars were the rulers of the Malwa whose emergence is in 10th century AD. So they are not fitting in this part. Then Pushyabhutis of Thaneshwar. So who are Pushyabhuti? Harshvardhan himself. His dynasty name is that Pushyabhuti. So that is one. Then Maukharis of Kannauj. Let me tell you, Maukharis of Kannauj, they are also the contemporary of that Maukharis of Kannauj are also the contemporary of the Pushyabhuti. Maukhari ruler Grihvarman, okay? He was the son-in-law of please don't talk in just front of me. Then I get distracted. It's my problem, but then you have to be very that oriented towards here because you are just in line of my sight. Then तो कोई भी बात करोगे, even अच्छी भी बात बुरी लगती है. तो don't take it otherwise. So understand. So Maukharis. There was, let me tell you a story of the Pushyabhuti dynasty itself. Prabhakar Vardhan was the founder of this dynasty, and Thaneshwar was the place in Haryana where it emerged. He had one daughter and then two sons. Name of the daughter was Rajyashri, and then the eldest son was Rajyavardhan, and then the youngest son was the Harshvardhan. But then they had an enemy. Enemy was Shashank Gowda of Bihar and Bengal. And then he was always after them. So after the death of Prabhakar Vardhan, Rajyavardhan became ruler. And the daughter, Rajyashri, was married to the Maukhari ruler Grihvarman, who was the ruler of Kannauj. But then Harshvardhan, he was not the ruler at this time. What Shashank Gowda has done, he has killed Grihvarman and brother of the Harshvardhan, Rajyavardhan, and he captured Rajyashri and he kept her in a prison in Kannauj. That's when Harshvardhan has taken that he has elevated himself to the throne. He has fought with Shashank Gowda, but then Shashank Gowda was a formidable enemy. Immediately he was not defeated, but Harshvardhan was successful in releasing her sister Rajyashri from the captivity of the Shashank Gowda. And then after it took 20 years, finally Harshvardhan defeated Shashank Gowda. So they were also the contemporary. Then Yadavas of Devgiri. So Yadavas of Devgiri are also from the 9th century onwards. Ramachandra Yadav. Okay? He was one of the famous ruler of that time. And Alauddin Khilji was the one who was often invading the Yadav dynasty. Then, so Yadavas are also not from the 6th century, and Maitrakas of Vallabhi, so they were the contemporary of the Guptas. Then, so the elimination करके इसमें देख लो तो what it comes out. So Guptas 1, then comes Pushyabhutis of Thaneshwar 3, then Maukharis were also relatives of Pushyabhuti, and then Maitrakas of Vallabhi. इसको याद करने का तरीका मेरी मतलब what I do in the class, I tell you the story. If you remember the story, you will always be able to remember it. Then, and you will able to remember. So this story, Maukhari is a relative of Pushyabhuti. That makes it correct. Then, अगर जो इन दोनों में से कोई पता है तो आराम से eliminate कर जाओगे. उसके अलावा we'll tell you about the Maitrakas also. Maitrakas were also the contemporary of the Guptas then, and even beyond the Gupta rule has disappeared, they survived. So Maitraka stories, I'll tell you that Maitrakas were enemies of the Gupta itself. When Chandragupta II was there, so Chandragupta II ke pehle, I'll tell you one small story. There was one ruler whose name is not quite mentioned in the Gupta history because he is considered as a blot in the Gupta history. Samudragupta 385, and then was the rule of the Ramagupta. Ramagupta was married to a very beautiful lady. Her name was Dhruvaswamini. Then, and it's just like Padmavati, that her beauty was very famous all over many places then. So in fact, Maitrakas were very much interested in the Dhruvaswamini. What they did, they kidnapped Ramagupta to get married with the, kidnapped Ramagupta, and the condition of his release was that he will have to hand over Dhruvaswamini. So that's the time when Chandragupta II his younger brother, he fought with the Maitrakas, defeated them, and he also eliminated his brother and married Dhruva Swamini. So this is story, if you remember, so you will remember that they were the rulers at this point of time. So through the stories also some of the dynasties you can remember. Okay? Then let's come to, I'll have to move it from there. So now the next question from the decline of the Guptas, yahi same question hai. Now consider the following pairs, historical places and well known for. So I'll do one exercise. ये just give me 1 minute. So इसमें इस question पे मैं वापस आऊँगा. See that this Chandra Ketugad terracotta art, West Bengal, I have written. So that's a right statement. This was the question of 2021. Now just go into, I'm going to page number 36 of mine, this particular thing. Now you see this year paper, Chandra Ketugad, Odisha, trading port town. So if you have seen the previous year paper, now अब पहले 2024 का क्वेश्चन करते हैं. You will cut it. चंद्रकेतुगढ़ बाहर निकल गया क्योंकि it is West Bengal and then it is the terracotta thing. But here क्या mention है? State Odisha and trading port town निकल गया. Then इनाम गांव, whenever you study Chalcolithic, तो ये normally सब लोग पढ़ाते हैं. ये बहुत normal fact है कि इनाम गांव was a Chalcolithic site in the Maharashtra. So this is a correct statement. अब 1 निकल गया, 2 रह गया, तो on the basis of it, which one would be correct? You will do. ठीक है, मतलब मैं B अगर डाक भी दूं तो देखो 1 निकल गया तो 1, wherever 1 is there you can cut it, remaining 2 and 3. Then so 2 and 3 over here and then 3 and 4. तो 2 is correct, वो इसमें दिया नहीं है, तो this is also done. So on the basis of just this only you can solve the question. This is what you need to do. That's why 10-year paper analysis is very important. Then ये document है तुम्हारे पास? अच्छा, it's actually मतलब Vision's created document, but then I'll do something in this regard. ठीक है? We'll let you know. So that you can get it. So now let's come back to the question, previous question. Consider the following pairs. Bird's home, it's also a normal fact. Every मतलब good teacher of the history, it doesn't matter यहाँ पे या कहाँ पे, ठीक है? Good teachers will be telling you, ठीक है? They will be teaching you about the Bird's home. Bird's home is a very famous site in Kashmir. Then, and this is a Neolithic site. So Neolithic age से, and Bird's home is known for, so it is in, it's not rock cut shrine. Shrine का मतलब समझते हो? पूजा करने वाली जगह. That's what is called as shrine. So it's not shrine. Then Bird's home is more known for the pit dwellings. Then कि लोग जो जमीन में खोद के नीचे रहते थे. Then it is also known for that Bird's home में one unique thing was identified, that masters were buried along with their dogs. Then so they were buried along with their dogs. That is also a unique part of it. Then and then bone tool industry was there. What is bone tool? मतलब हड्डियों से tools बनाना. So that is what is unique about the Bird's home. So this information, rock cut shrine is not for it. रॉक कट श्राइन के जगह यहाँ पे पिट ड्वेलिंग लिखा हो तो दैट विल बी करेक्ट. बोन इम्प्लीमेंट लिखा हो तो दैट वुड बी करेक्ट. देन चंद्रकेतुगढ़, इट इज नोन फॉर द टेराकोटा आर्ट एंड इट इज फ्रॉम वेस्ट बंगाल. सो चंद्रकेतुगढ़, व्हाट इज टेराकोटा आर्ट? Terracotta, the figures which are made from the clay baked on fire, that is terracotta art. Then Ganeshwar. So this is also Chalcolithic site, and Ganeshwar is known for the artifacts, copper artifacts. अब इसके बारे में little bit more knowledge we need to know. This is not a difficult question. It's a factual question. I would rather say factual question. Why so? So when we talk about the Chalcolithic period in the ancient period, तो Chalcolithic period, चलो let me ask you, ठीक है? Did Chalcolithic period existed before Indus Valley or after Indus Valley? हाँ, tell me. Apply your logic, ठीक है? And let me know. Did Chalcolithic, India के केस में I am asking, did Chalcolithic period existed before Indus Valley or after Indus Valley? Or was it existing at the time of Indus Valley? Before, after, existing, all the three are correct. And it existed before Indus Valley also. It was there at the time of the Indus Valley also, and it was after Indus Valley also. What is the meaning of the word Chalcolithic? That Chalcolithic is derived from the word chalcogen, then and lith. So lith is a stone and chalcogen is copper. Generally, chalcogens are basically chalco, not chalcogen. I'm going into the domain of the chemistry. Are you comfortable? Little bit? Then, so I hope you are aware about the periodic table. And in periodic table, there are different type of the elements which are called, some of them are called as inactive elements, then, and halogens, you remember, then transition metal, then chalcogens. What is chalcogen? Oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, and polonium. Then, so these are the chalcogens. Then, so oxygen, sulfur, selenium, polonium, and tellurium. Then, these are. Now, what is the property of it? That एक तरफ chalcogens and दूसरी तरफ transition metal. And what is transition metal? Iron, copper, zinc, these all manganese, transition metal. So there is a very heavy correlation between the chalcogens and the transition metal. दोनों एक दूसरे के साथ बहुत जल्दी react करते हैं. Then, so for example, that if you put a copper glass in this classroom today, कोटिंग नहीं हो बाहर से, आजकल तो वो प्लास्टिक की कोटिंग होके आती है, but then normal copper glass by the morning it will be black. Why so? Because copper transition metal and it readily reacts with the sulfur in the environment, which leads to the creation of the that H2S, which is blackening the copper. So इसलिए तो basically what I'm trying to tell you, that chalcogen is oxygen, sulfur, these things, and copper is called as chalco, meaning that it is the one metal from the transition metal side which heavily reacts with all of these chalcogens. Then, तो now understand, यहीं से नाम derive होता है chalcolithic का. So chalco refers to copper, lithic refers to stone. So the entire age duration in the ancient India, when people were using the copper and the stone, that period would be called as chalcolithic period. So chalcolithic existed before Indus Valley also, at the time of Indus Valley also, in other areas, and after the end of Indus Valley also it existed. तो ये एक important concept याद रखना. Let's come to Ganeshwar. So copper was very much, this is Ganeshwar as a site which was, it came to popularity somewhere from the Indus Valley time and then till 1300. So there were many places. If we talk about the copper mines in India, so there are only two places in India where we do get the copper. एक तो Rajasthan, and in Rajasthan the areas are Alwar, Jhunjhunu, then, and in the Alwar Jhunjhunu belt itself Ganeshwar is there. Then there is one more place which is called as Jilund, and Jilund was also referred as Tambavati. So suppose that if this time they have asked Ganeshwar, maybe next year they can ask Jilund, okay, which is also from the Rajasthan chalcolithic, known for the copper. Then so these places, and then another copper belt of India जहाँ से आजकल हमारा production होता है. So that copper belt is the Betul district of the Madhya Pradesh, and so as one area in the Jharkhand, there is a river where that people do get some sort of copper, then but then very little less copper. So that Betul from Madhya Pradesh to the belt of the Jharkhand, that is the area. But then it is insufficient for the India's need, and we import copper from outside. So Ganeshwar was the copper site. That's what is one thing that we need to mention, that Rajasthan se hai, so you can take a risk that it will be a copper site. Then, so what all places I mentioned to you, they can either give you the names of Alwar is easy, Jhunjhunu is also easy, Jilund, Tambavati, and Ganeshwar. Then, so these are the 5 places which are known for the copper from the chalcolithic times. So answer already it is there before you, 2 and 3 is correct. So let's move on to next part.
Does the vast syllabus of general studies for the UPSC prelims overwhelm you to initiate your preparation for the civil services examination? Is your apprehension and self-doubt coming in the way of your success in joining the civil services? Comprehend your preparation for UPSC Prelims 2025 with the fast-track course targeting general studies with innovative curriculum, revision and mentorship. Starting from 19th November at 1 p.m, the course offers coverage of UPSC GS Prelims subjects, dedicated mentorship support and guidance for performance maximization, Access to PT 365 classes for current affairs preparation. Sectional mini tests for regular assessment and performance. Personalized student portal to access study material. Access to live and online classes. Enroll today and make prelims your stepping stone to proceed to the UPSC mains.
In which one of the following regions was Danyakataka, which flourished as a prominent Buddhist center under the Mahasanghikas located? Let me ask a question to you. How many of you have done art and culture? पढ़ लिया है? तो पिछले साल तुम लोगों ने तो पढ़ा ही है, but this year anybody who has started then or any batch I'm taking the class? अभी yours batch I'm taking the class, but then it has stopped na in your batch after 3 classes itself. We have not reached to this place. So अगर जो थोड़ा बहुत पढ़ा होता तो I would have will be having a little bit more ease in explaining to you, but then I'll try to explain to you. ठीक है? Just understand. So it all starts that actually when it comes to the division in the Buddhism, Buddha died in 483 and then onwards that many councils of the Buddhism were held. Then first council only his teachings were written. Second council division in Buddhism happened, and the word which is written over here, Mahasangika. So this second council was convened by Kalashok, who was the king of the Shishunag dynasty in 383 BC. And 2 branches of the Buddhism were created, that is known as Mahasangika and Sthavarvadin. So Sthavarvadin and Mahasangika. उसके बाद क्या होता है that 383 to 250 BC. 250 BC is the time when Ashoka has convened third Buddhist council. In this 133 years, Buddhism got divided into 18 branches. Then these 18 branches, 11 belonged to Sthavarvadin and 7 belonged to Mahasangika. So 133 year में 18 branches. Then now what happens when Ashoka is convening the council? So what he did that in the third Buddhist council, one of his most important initiative that he did not recognize Mahasanghikas. Then he did not recognize Mahasanghikas, and from the Sthavarvadin there was a branch which is called as 11 branches है उसमें. तो 11 branches में एक है Theravada. So Ashoka said that Theravada is the original teaching of the Buddha, and he did not recognize Mahasangika. So when they were not getting patronage, Mahasangika, they moved to this place Danyakataka. Then so Danyakataka and basically Amravati area of the Amravati, which is the capital of the Andhra. So they have moved on to this place. Then moreover in Buddhism you will be reading, take a classes mein ya fir then obviously that if you Buddhism is a very important portion as we have seen from any stage of exam, and I would recommend you to Buddhism mein koi compromise mat karna, ठीक है? So then understand. So Amravati was even famous before the Mauryas or even before the advent of the Buddha. So जब Buddhism पढ़ते हो तो there you read about that Siddhartha Gautama was not the only Buddha, and before him also existed many Buddhas. So Amravati was a place they say that was associated with the Buddhas who have come before the Buddha. जो बुद्धा के पहले बुद्धा आए हैं, their place. So now this Mahasangika, they moved on to Danyakataka, Amravati area, and this Danyakataka in the later time it becomes the capital of the Satavahana. So the original name of the Danyakataka in the ancient times before the Mauryas was Dharani Kota in Amravati. So this is what is associated, that only thing that you needed to identify is that state, Andhra. Then so Andhra is an important center of the Buddhism. So when you read about these all developments, कि Buddhism में branching कहाँ हो रहा है, ये कहाँ move कर रहे हैं, तो then definitely you remember these all sites. And I don't think that if you have studied from me, you will be marking it wrong. Then, but for rest of the people in the market, obviously it was a difficult question. Then, and I also did a hell lot of research in last 2.5 years. And in last 2.5 years, what was basically 2021, when the COVID second phase was there, and then it was a dreaded phase. So I was approached by that. Actually, I'll tell you one small story. That was the time that I could have written a book on art and culture anytime soon, because in 2013, when the mains examination, new pattern of the culture started, I was the first teacher in this market to create the entire structure of the art and culture. So then I happened to teach this, but then I was many a times I was persuaded to write the book. I was not writing it from many reasons, personal reasons, I would say. In 2021, I lost people from my family in COVID itself, and we lost one of our very prominent teacher also because of the COVID. He was, I would say that I haven't seen any faculty of economics like him. He was best in this entire market. We lost him, unfortunately, and that was a phase of the depression. So then that year, one of my classroom topper, Utkarsh Devedi, rank 5, so he approached me. He said to me, sir, you write the book because you need to, that the other people must get benefit from your experience, because I know that what you have done, and then how people read these everything. So I started writing book, and then I did a lot of research. I could have written the book in 6 months itself, but I took 2.5 years. So now I have brought the book. It's already there, done in the market, and it was released on 5th of September. So Buddhism part, it's very closer to me because I also belong to a Buddhist place only. So I have done a good research. I hope it will benefit you in the exam. Then, so it is in the story format if you read it. So I think that you will not be able to forget the parts of the Buddhism. So coming back to this question is that 11 branches of Sthavirvad and 7 branches of Mahasanghika. All the Mahasanghika, they went to Amaravati, Dharani Kota, which later on named as Danyakataka, and this is the center which led to the development of Mahayana Buddhism, which is the most popular version of the Buddhism in today's time. Near about 50% of the Buddhist followers, they belong to Mahayana Buddhism. Then, so this is one such question. Then let's move on to the next part. फिर से वापस एक पोर्ट का क्वेश्चन आ गया, ठीक है. With reference to the ancient South India, Korkai, Pompuhar and Muchuri were well known as. Then, so Korkai, Pompuhar and Muchuri, these all are the ports. Easy question था. मुझे नहीं लगता कि इससे easy question ancient medieval में पूछ सकते हैं वो, if you have read the Sangam dynasty. So Chera, Chola and Pandyas, these are the 3 Sangam dynasties. And Sangam dynasty, their timeline starts from near about 250 BC से लेकर 600 AD तक. So in this duration, Muchiri was, इसको हिंदी में they mentioned Mujiri, then English they have written Muchiri. So Mujiri was the most important port of the Cheras in the Kerala side, and it is also one of the surviving port at this time. Then Pompuhar. Then, so Pompuhar has many names. Kaveri Patnam Pompuhar. Then, so it is in Tamil Nadu side on the banks of river Kaveri, and it was the port of the Cholas. Then, so either they will give the name Kaveri Patnam or Pompuhar. Then, so that is their port. Then Korkai. So Korkai is the port of the Pandyas, just little above Kanyakumari. Then Pandyas have one more port. So Pandya ka dusra port tha, it was called as Thuthikodi. So 2 ports were there with the Pandyas, Korkai and Thuthikodi, and Thuthikodi is the today's time it is known as Tuticorin, which is one of the major port of India. Then Cholas ke there were 2 ports. One was the Pompuhar, which we have mentioned, and another port was Paduka. What is Paduka? Paduka has 2 names. No idea. Paduka is Pondicherry. And one of the old name of the Pondicherry is Arikamedu. So they can either ask you that they can give you name either Paduka or Arikamedu. Both are same, both are Pondicherry. Then, and then Chola's another port is Kaveri Patnam, which is also known as Pompuhar. Then what I said, Pandya's 2 port, Korkai and Thuthikodi. And then Cheras had only 1 port, that was Muziri. Then, so ports you will be able to do. आगे तो अभी जितना स्कोप यूपीएससी ने दिया है उस स्कोप में आई थिंक यू विल ऑलवेज बी एबल टू परफॉर्म वेल इन द पोर्ट क्वेश्चन. देन दिस इज अ मैप विच आई हैव ब्रॉट. तो यू कैन सी दैट दिस इज पौंडीचेरी. ठीक है. सो पौंडीचेरी Pondicherry's old name is Arikamedu, and then Paduka is also the name. Then this is Kaveri Patnam, and it is called as Pampuhar also. Then this is Korkai, and Thuthikodi is not mentioned in this one, but then Thuthikodi would be somewhere around this. Okay? Algankulam is from this side. Then Muchiri is over here, and there is one more port which is not actually Chera's port, but it was combining with the Karnataka rural dynasties, that is Tonde. So these are some of the popular ports. Then let's come to this question. So already we have discussed, but then फिर भी थोड़ा सा और इसमें देखते हैं. So what is here? So consider the following information. Archaeological state description. Chandraketugarh, we already discussed. It is in West Bengal, and it is a terracotta, known for terracotta figurines. Inamgaon is in Maharashtra, and it is a Chalcolithic site. Mangadu was in the news. Okay? This was in the news. Very recently, it was discovered in Kerala, and already it is existing from long time. But what was it? Mangadu was a basically megalithic site. So now the new word which we are using, megalithic. What is megalithic? See, megalithic period can also exist at the time of Indus Valley, before Indus Valley, after Indus Valley. Okay? Megalithic cultures are those cultures where people are creating the habitations with big rocks. ठीक है, बड़े बड़े rock को खड़ा करके नीचे रख के they are creating the houses and they are living in it. That's it. ठीक है, mega meaning big and lithic means rock. So megalithic structures were created. That's what is the megalithic culture. And there are different designs which they create with these all. So sometimes they create a kind of a mushroom shaped megalith कि नीचे एक rock, उसके ऊपर बड़ा rock, and then on the sides they are living. Then pit dwelling mega rocks which is there in the bird's home. Then urn shaped mega rock. So different shape mega rocks they use for creating their habitation. That is the megalithic culture. So this was recently discovered in Kerala, and Salihundam is not rock cut cave sign. The information which is correct. तो अब देखो इसमें से expect कर सकते हो next year maybe they can ask you Salihundam. Okay? Maybe they can ask you Mangadu. Maybe they will remove Inamgaon and Chandraketugarh. समझ लो they are removing. But then they will be asking from these three sides. So Salihundam is in Andhra Pradesh, and it is known for 4 chaityas or 4 stupas. So 4 stupas were excavated from this place. It is not rock cut cave sign. And rock cut cave shrine you will be reading in the temple architecture. Whenever you start, so this year mains question was about it only, Pallava architecture. And Pallava architecture, how it all started, rock cut cave shrine. Then, so rock cut cave shrine meaning कि rock को cut करके उसमें chamber बनाया, chamber के अंदर they have put the god and they are worshipping. So Salihundam Buddhist shrines also have rock cut cave shrines, but then you will understand in Ajanta and Ellora, it was not known for it, it was known for 4 Buddhist stupa. Then, so in this question that already we have discussed, but keep it, इसको mark करके रख लेना, ये 2024 का question है, and do some extra research of it. Then एक बार फिर से one of the question related to the ports. Then so which one of the following was a very important seaport of the Kakatiya Kingdom? Then so seaport of the Kakatiya Kingdom, where is Kakatiya Kingdom? So if I have to just chalo, I'll do one exercise. Then just Warangal, but then Kakatiya is Andhra pura ka pura, okay? Not the Royal Seema. Not Royal Seema. That lower part of the Andhra will leave. Coastal part of the Andhra like Vizag and these all, and Masulipatnam also, and then touching the boundaries half the area of the Telangana. So that is the Kakatiya Kingdom. Kakatiya Kingdom emerged in the 11th-12th century, and they got their name from the goddess Kakati, and goddess Kakati is the form of the goddess Durga. Then, so Kakatiyas were one of the very prominent rulers of that time, and in fact, Warangal was their capital. Original name of Warangal was Orugali, and Warangal in those times was famous for diamond mines. Then, in fact, the biggest piece of diamond in the world in those times when it was found, so it was found from Warangal mine. What is the name? Kohinoor. Then, so originally it belonged to the Kakatiya ruler Prataparudra II, and then after, when the Alauddin Khilji's invasion is happening, so he gave it to him. Then, so that is one part. Then Prataparudra II was the last ruler who was killed by the Tughlaqs. Before Prataparudra II, his mother was there, Queen Mother, and her name is Rudrama Devi. She is one of the initial female rulers of India. Then in Delhi Sultanate, we read about Rajia Sultan, but in the Indian regional kingdoms, she was one of the important or one of the initial female ruler, and she was also very ferocious. She is the one who defeated the Yadava dynasty of the Devagiri. Then moreover, at the time of the Rudrama Devi, one of the very famous traveler, Marco Polo, visited, Venetian traveler. And where is Venetia? Italy. Then, so Venetian traveler Marco Polo arrived in India, and he has written about the most famous port of the Kakatiyas. Then, so he has mentioned that key ports say foreign trade was happening, everything was happening, and then he has written about the richness of the Kakatiyas. Then, so generally, us time pe kya hua, when this question was asked, obviously it is not mentioned in the NCERT. So people, what they were doing, that they were applying some common sense logic, which was a nonsense logic. Then, and what was the logic? Their name is Kakatiya, so it will be Kakinada. ठीक है, काका काकी, ठीक है, तो काका काकी के चक्कर में गलत हो गया. Nobody wrote Motupalli, but that was the port, and it is mentioned in the Marco Polo's statement. Then, so that's 2017 port question. Then let's come to the consider the following events in the history of India. Rise of Pratiharas under King Bhoj, establishment of Pallavas power under Mahendra Varman, establishment of Chola power by Purantak, and Pal dynasty founded by Gopal. I'll tell one thing to you. This may seem difficult question to you, but then from the sense of the history, ancient and medieval history, it is easiest question, because no good teacher will ever, or even if you are studying at your own, you will ever leave information related to it. Then, so they are always covered in the broader topic, and this answer you can find in NCERTs. Then, so understand, rise of Pratiharas under Bhoja. अब Pratiharas का emergence कैसे होता है, ठीक है? That after the Guptas, the most important power in India, particularly in the northern part, were Harshvardhan's Pushyabhuti dynasty. Harshvardhan's regime was above Narmada river. It is covering the entire area above Narmada river. Then, so now what happened when Harshvardhan's death has happened by 647? So slowly the disintegration of his Pushyabhuti dynasty happened, and by 750 से 750 के बीच में 3 big dynasties emerged. What are they? Rashtrakutas of Karnataka and Maharashtra, central India. Then Pratihar Gurjara of the north and northwestern India. Then Pal dynasty of the eastern India. So these were the 3 dynasties. The very first which is mentioned, rise of Pratihar under King Bhoj. Then Mihir Bhoj they are talking about. Then, so Pratihara's original ruler was, the founder was Nagabhatta, but the most important ruler was the Mihir Bhoj, and his timeline was 836 to 885. So Mihir Bhoj was involved in many things, construction of the temples, and then devotion towards the Lord Vishnu. He took the title of Adi Varaha, which is related to the Lord Vishnu. Then he initiated the construction of the Maru Gurjara style of temple, and he is the one who was procuring large number of the horses from the Iran, and he is the one who established the control on Kannauj. Then, so we study about him. Then the second one, establishment of the Pallava power under Mahendra Varman. So Pallavas originally, अब यहाँ पे भी समझो, Pallavas originally were there from the 275 AD, but they were the Darbari of the Satvahana. Then they were not a ruler. By 600, what has happened? That Pallavas have come to power by removing Satvahanas from power. Exactly. Then, so now what has happened? That Mahendra Varman is regarded as the first most important ruler of the Pallavas. Then, in fact, even if you read about him in the culture, so then also you can solve it. His timeline was from 600 to 650 ke beech mein. Then, so he is the one, and his rivalry was there with the Chalukya ruler Pulakesin II, who was his contemporary. So both are there from 600 to 630 ke aspas mein. So that is Mahendravarman, and this year mains question, Pallava architecture. It all starts with the Mahendravarman himself from 600 AD. So easy information. Then establishment of Chola power by Purantak. So Cholas, let's understand, there were two Cholas then. So two Cholas, early Chola who were there in the Sangam period, 200 BC to 600 AD. And the imperial Chola was founded in 890 by Vijayalaya. Then after the death of Vijayalaya, next ruler was Aditya I and his son was Purantak I. Some यहाँ पे एग्जाम में लिखा हुआ है पुरांतक, बट साउथ इंडियन सोर्सेस दे मेंशन हिम एज अ परांतक. तो परांतक पुरांतक बहुत अंतर नहीं है, ठीक है, हिंदी भी पढ़ लेना. देन सो नाउ अंडरस्टैंड. So he was the third ruler and his timeline started from 907 to 955. And then Pal dynasty was founded by Gopal in 750 itself. So Danti Durg founded Rashtrakuta in 751 and Nagbhat was the founder around 712 when it comes to the Pratihar Gujar, and then Gopal was the founder of the Pal dynasty of the East in the 750. So these are often repeated information in the classes. Now you can arrange according to it. Then so arrangement 2 4 1 3. Then so what they have asked, that correct chronological order of the above incident starting from the earliest time. It's very important. तो यहाँ पे देखो that consider part they have given and the question has been asked over correct chronological events above events starting from the earliest time. So earliest would be Pallava, ठीक है? Then after Pal, then after Pratihar Gurjar, and last would be the this one Chola power by Purantak. So now what you are able to note down abhi tak, that what type of question UPSC is asking. Ports question, let's figure out. Ports question, favorite. Then after inscription question, favorite. Site question related to the important dynasties, particularly Indus Valley. So site question, and then one is the chronology. Chronology is one very favorite type of the question of UPSC. Then so chronology they are asking. Chronology you will have to master. Then ये difficult question था. I would not say this is an easy question. So consider the following pairs, and in fact it was the 2022 pair which 22 paper which has given shock to the people, that it stumped everybody कि मतलब नए type का question that how many pairs are correct. So understand, consider the following pairs. So whenever that you study about that 9th century से लेके 12th century के बीच का development. So this is the period which is the regional power period, and regional powers basically the Rajputs were very prominent in the north, northwestern and central India. So the people who are mentioned over here, they are the mostly Rajput. So Nanuka was the founder of the Chandela dynasty. Then so he was the founder of the Chandel dynasty, and Chandels belong to Bundelkhand area. So Jhansi, Lalitpur, ठीक है, Jalon, then apart from it, which area? Khajuraho. So Mahoba, Orcha, then so these all places they will be coming under the Bundelkhand. So he was the founder of the Chandela. Then Jai Sakti, ठीक है. So Chandel ruler Nanuk, ठीक है, his son and was the Jai Sakti. He is also Chandela, his third ruler. Sorry. So his son was he was the grandson of the Nanuk, and then moreover third ruler. He was also called as Jajuk Bhukti, ठीक है, and after his name Chandel rulers are also called as Jajuk Bhukti dynasty. So this information you can find in the book, that ki Chandel rulers are also referred as Jajuk Bhukti, and if it is named after Jai Shakti, so then you can eliminate it. Nagbhat already I mentioned ki Nagbhat I was the founder somewhere around 700 AD of the Pratihar Gurjara, and he was followed by the second ruler Nagbhatta II. Then comes the Raja Bhoj. Already we have mentioned he is a Pratihar ruler, Mihir Bhoj. Then and his timeline also. So now you see previous question mein Raja Bhoj. Okay, just go into it. Previous question they have asked about Raja Bhoj, and it is in 2020. 2022 mein once again Raja Bhoj has been asked. So note down the trend. that each and every option you have to evaluate. Then let's come to, so how many pairs are correct? Only 2 pairs are correct. Consider the following dynasties then, and एक बार फिर से, this is also a kind of a chronology question. So Hoysala, Gahdaula, and then Kakatiya, and then after the Yadava dynasty. We are referring it from about them from long time. अब repetition भी दिखाई दे रहा है. You are able to notice that Yadavas are repeated, then Kakatiyas are repeated, Gahdaulas first time, but Hoysalas 2023 UPSC has picked up Hoysalas, and then till 2024 they have asked. Then, so, and one of the reason that Hoysala temples, 3 of the Hoysala temples recently last year they were given the UNESCO Heritage Place status, and these 3 temples were Hoysaleshwar temple, then Channakeshwar temple of Somnathpura, and Channakeshwar temple of Beluru. So these 3 temples are in the UNESCO ensemble, and then after the questions were there in the prelims also, last year mains also about the Hoysalas. Then, so Hoysala's timeline, it is from 1026 to 1343. So I'll just tell you that one more resource, some of you already know, but some of you may not be knowing, those who are not in my classes. From April, this year April onwards, I started one channel of mine related to culture only. So there I covered the Hoysala temple, okay, from the right location. Hoysala, and then 2 temples of the Hoysalas I have covered from the temple itself, obviously live location, so that your learning would be more enhanced then, and you can better relate to what you have studied. So Hoysaleshwar video I would strongly recommend you to see, and so as the Channakeswar temple you can also see, then both the temples. I hope you know about my channel name. What is it? Culture Quantum. Then, so you can refer, and not only these all, but modern se bhi topics hai, and then topics we are adding nowadays time and again. Then, so last topic which I added 2-3 days back was the Tirupati temple entire history. Then, so you can refer to it. It will be a light read, or light that kind of that read, or you can say audio visual memory would be enhanced. So you must refer to it. Then now let's understand this question. So Hoysalas, their story that 126 to 1343, they were basically completely defeated and assimilated by Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Then, and actually it is Muhammad bin Tughlaq who destroyed many of their temples. So when it comes to their temples, then the half structures are remaining. ऊपर के towers restored नहीं हुए, ठीक है, but then half structures are remaining. So it was all destroyed by them. Then, so Hoysala's timeline is this. Then Gahdaulas. So Gahdaulas were in 11th and 12th century. In fact, Gahdaula's story, you can also easily remember. It is all related to Prithviraj Chauhan. Then, and Gahdaula's ruler Jayachand, his daughter Sanyogita was in love with Prithviraj Chauhan, and then Sanyogita eloped with Prithviraj Chauhan against the wishes of the father, because he did not want to get married to Prithviraj Chauhan. And then after, Jayachand helped Muhammad Ghori, okay, in war against Prithviraj Chauhan in second battle of Tarain. First battle of Tarain, Prithviraj Chauhan was successful, but in second battle, due to the support of the Jayachand, Prithviraj Chauhan was defeated. So that was the beginning of the Delhi Sultanate rule in India, or informal Turkish rule in India. So he was in 11th, 12th century, and he was originally from Banaras, but then he has established his control on Kannauj also. And those were the time that Kannauj was the most important industrial city of India. Then, and Kannauj is famous for perfumes in today's time, इत्र, ठीक है. So एक यूनिक टाइप का इत्र है कन्नौज में, जिसको कहते हैं मिट्टी की खुशबू, ठीक है. And what is it? That when the first rain happens in summer season, बहुत लंबे टाइम से 2 महीने से बारिश नहीं हुई है, and when the first rain happens, the smell of the clay which comes, that is called as the मिट्टी की खुशबू. I don't know you have witnessed or not, but I to love it, ठीक है. So it's very unique, and I'll tell you scientific fact of it. It's a bacteria. Then, so it's a bacteria. When the water falls on it, bacteria releases its essential oil, and that's how that smell is there. Then, so that's गहदौला से हो गया, आगे बढ़े ककतिया. So Kakatiya already we told you that they were also the 11th to 13th century, 14th century, and based on the goddess ruler Kakati. And Kakatiya ruler Prataparudra II was defeated and killed by Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Once again, Muhammad bin Tughlaq. So इसमें एक चीज कॉमन में दिखेगा, you will be see कि Hoysala and Kakatiyas are co-related to the Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Then Yadavas, so their confrontation was more there with the Alauddin Khilji. Then they are also from the last 300 years before Alauddin Khilji. Then कोई बच्चा इसमें Kakatiya already we have mentioned. So what they have asked that how many of the above dynasty established their kingdom in early 8th century? कोई है ही नहीं. All of them after 9th century. That Yadavas are the oldest, but then they are also after the 9th century and rest of them are after 10th century. So एक हिंदी में वर्ड हम यूज करते हैं, ठीक है, मोटा मोटे तौर पे. आई होप यू अंडरस्टैंड. सो इफ यू रिमेंबर द क्रोनोलॉजी इन मोटा मोटे तौर, मीनिंग दैट इन बिट्स एंड पीसेस, ठीक है, तो इट विल सर्व योर पर्पस. बिकॉज स्पेसिफिकली कहीं पे ये नहीं पूछा है दैट व्हाट वाज द टाइमलाइन ऑफ द राजा भोज. दे आर जस्ट आस्किंग यू दैट क्रोनोलॉजी ये करो. तो just remember the chronology sequence, but it's not very necessary to remember the exact date. Then let's come to the next part. Consider the following statements. Then अब हम लास्ट के पोर्शन में जा रहे हैं, ठीक है. कोई सवाल पूछना हो तो पूछ लो, because we are going entering into this part, ठीक है, मुगल पार्ट. कुछ क्वेश्चन है एनी सेक्शन? Chalo, I'll go into it. So in the revenue administration, consider the following statement. In the revenue administration of Delhi Sultanate, the in charge of revenue collection was known as Amil. Then modern में भी हम लोग पढ़ते हैं. We do talk about, whenever we talk about the that police organization, law and order function. So there we mentioned that they were the tax collectors and they were also given the responsibility of the law and order administration. So if they add, the answer is, if they add that Amil may basically that they are revenue collector and they are also law and order officer, both will be correct, okay, because they were given the responsibility. That's one part, so this is correct. Then the Ikta system of the Sultans of Delhi was an ancient indigenous institution. इसमें ये बहुत easily you can cut it, ठीक है, because what is the beginning of the ancient period? What is the end of the ancient period? End of the ancient period is emergence of Islam. Be very clear, ठीक है. End of the ancient period is emergence of Islam. Beginning of early medieval is the beginning of Islam, onset of Islam. 7th century AD Islam was founded. That marks the beginning of early medieval. So Ikta system was related to the Islam, ठीक है. तो how can it can get associated before Islam? तो यहीं पे ये incorrect हो जाता है. दूसरा word indigenous is also incorrect. Ikta system, so Islam was not born in India. It came to India. Then, so it came to India for the first time 712 AD with the invasion of Muhammad bin Qasim. Then, and then after many frequent arrivals were there. So when the Islam is arriving in that part or any part, ठीक है, they are bringing it, and what is written over here? Indigenous, मतलब India का था, ठीक है. It was not related to India. So originally when we talk about Ikta system, this is the system of the revenue administration which existed in the Caliphate. Caliphate is where? Turkey. So it all emerged from the Turkey and then it has traveled to India. So ancient part से भी इसको cut कर सकते हो, and indigenous also is one indicative that you can cut. Then let's understand. The office of Mir Baksi came into existence during the reign of Khalji Sultans of Delhi. We'll tell you, okay? When we read Delhi Sultanate, so we'll talk about the revenue departments of the Delhi Sultanate. All the administrative departments of the Delhi Sultanate. So before Alauddin Khilji, when the slave dynasty was there, slave dynasty, one of the most powerful ruler of the slave dynasty was Ghiyasuddin Balban. And Balban created a department which is called as Diwan-e-Arij. Diwan-e-Arij was the department of military. Then So Mir Bakshi is not the department, first of all. Diwan-e Arij continued till the end of the Delhi Sultanate. And when Akbar has become the Mughal ruler, so he changed Diwan-e Arij to the office of the Mir Bakshi. And he is head of the military department. Then, so Mir Bakshi naming started from the Akbar's time, and in entire Delhi Sultanate period, Diwan-e Arij was the name of the military department. Getting it? हाँ, इंडिया में सी दैट इल्तुतमिश इनिशिएटेड इट, ठीक है, ये भी एक वो है दैट इट इज ऑल्सो वेरी नॉर्मल फैक्ट दैट वी ऑल रीड, कहीं पे भी पढ़ोगे तो इक्ता सिस्टम इन इंडिया वाज इनिशिएटेड बाय इल्तुतमिश. देन and Iltutmish, when he has become power, actually he is considered as the real founder of the Delhi Sultanate. Then, so during the Kutubuddin Aibak's time, it was not implemented, but it was implemented during his time. And what was this Ikta? So let me tell you a little bit. So basically, it is a land grant which is given to the officers of the that Delhi Sultanate period, and in the return of this land grant, they are providing military support. Then, so this is what is the system. So in India, ये भी एक सवाल हो सकता है. It was initiated by Iltutmish. Then,
completing the syllabus without proper knowledge of current affairs will not take you far in the UPSC Civil Services examination. Regulate and transform your preparation with complete coverage of news of relevance. Get a concrete hold of current affairs for UPSC CSE with Vision IS Monthly Current Affairs Revision Program starting from 20th September at 5 p.m. The program is your guide to get comprehensive news on one platform sourced through relevant resources such as The Hindu, Indian Express, Economic Times, PIB, Yojana and others. Enroll for complete coverage of current affairs including Indian polity and constitution, economy, international relations and more. Comprehensive assessment of preparation through MCQs and mains-oriented questions. Expert support through personalized mentoring and online doubt resolution.
then let's come to question number जो भी हो 2021. So read. It was during the reign of Iltutmish that Chengiz Khan reached the Indus in the pursuit of the fugitive Khwarezm prince. So this is information. This is also that when you study medieval history, it's a normal fact. Jalaluddin Mangarbani, he was the prince of the Khwarezm. Khwarezm is an area which exists between Syria and Turkey. And so Syria and Iraq, that is the Khwarezm. So his name was Jalaluddin Mangarbani, and the ruler of the Mongolia, Chengiz Khan, who is considered as the king of the kings and one of the strongest king that ever existed on this planet Earth. There are only two names which are mentioned. Ek to Alexander and second is the Chengiz Khan. Chengiz Khan never faced any defeat. So Chengiz Khan was running after this Khwarezm prince, and at that point of time, this Khwarezm prince Jalaluddin Mangarbani, he asked for the asylum to Iltutmish, and Iltutmish knew that Chengiz Khan is too stronger. It will be foolish attempt on his side to give any kind of refuse to Jalaluddin. He refused. He did not give. So it is said that Iltutmish was smart enough, intelligent enough to safeguard India from the attack of Chengiz Khan, and Chengiz Khan returned from the Indus itself. So that's a right information. Then second question, second statement. It was during the reign of Muhammad bin Tughlaq that Taimur occupied Multan and crossed the Indus. So let's understand. When it comes to Muhammad bin Tughlaq, so Muhammad bin Tughlaq's regime, he came to power 1324 and he's there till 1351. So this is his life and death story. And he was a powerful ruler. In fact, it is said that the Delhi Sultanate territory has reached its maximum during the Muhammad bin Tughlaq's time. But then he was unfortunate also, and then he was a kind of a bizarre ruler who was known for his anger. Then, so there are many things which happened at his time which actually hit the glory of the these people. Then after, this next ruler was his cousin brother Firuz Shah Tughlaq. Then, and Firuz Shah Tughlaq has come to power 1351 to 1388 he has continued. Then, so his timeline is 1351 to 1388. And when it comes to Tamur, Amir Timur or Tamerlane, then he was the one who came from the Turkey, invaded India. So his invasion towards the India started in 1370 and he has completely looted India in 1398. Then, but after this loot, he was dead. Then, so who is Tamur? Tamur is the forefather of the Mughals. Then, basically, from the father side, Mughals are lineage of the Tamur, and from the mother side, Mughals are lineage of the Genghis Khan's that lineage, Nigar Khagan. Then, so this is what. So Mughals are that their dynasty is, they are Timurid in nature, meaning Turkish in nature, and they are also half Mongols. Then, so this is, so second statement stands wrong because he did not came at the time of the that Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Then it was during the reign of Devaraya to Vijayanagara Empire that Vasco da Gama reached the coast of the Kerala. See, this is the most favorite question of UPSC. As if that Vasco da Gama is Damad of India. The way UPSC has been asking the question, take hai, har saal, and moreover, one of your favorite book of the modern, every year they will have to search for the information. Once it is asked in the UPSC, then बाद में उन लोगों को पीछे से insert करना पड़ता है कि लोगों को दिखे कि मतलब हमारे भी किताब में है. I hope you know which book I'm talking about. Then, so you run after it, but then you get it after a question is asked in the exam. So Devaraya II timeline ends by 1446. Then, so 1446, and at the time of the Vasco da Gama, the ruler of the Vijayanagara kingdom was Veer Narasimha. Then, तो ये थोड़ा सा soul searching information है last वाला, क्योंकि इसमें you will have to do. But UPSC has given us indication that they will keep on asking from the Portuguese. So let's understand, let's read more about the Portuguese. Why to leave them? Why to do not to do all the research? अब this question is 2021. उसके बाद भी modern में कुछ questions पूछे हैं. Then एक और question है, I'll be coming to that. So which information is correct? Very first one is correct and rest of the two, these are wrong. Then so इसमें correct ही पूछा हुआ है. Then let's come to the same question is there. Then who among the following rulers medieval Gujarat surrendered due to Portuguese? As I said, na, it is favorite topic of the UPSC. So one Vasco da Gama here, now another question related to Portuguese. So this is more of, I would say this more we study in the modern Indian history, but अब यहाँ पे हमने चूँकि timeline is medieval, so we have kept over here also. So I'll tell you the story that how the Portuguese got. So Portuguese, their story starts with that Vasco da Gama and then Pedro Alvarez Cabral, next sailor. Then Portuguese government has decided that now onwards they will not be sending any private sailor, they will send viceroy. First viceroy was the Almeida till 1509, and then after Albuquerque, who is considered as the real founder of the Portuguese, 1510. And Albuquerque is the one who has got the Bhatkal Fort, created Bhatkal Fort, Goa, he has acquired, done. And then he has also acquired the strategic places, Singapore mein, Strait of Malacca, and UAE mein, Dubai side mein, Strait of Hormuz, done. So that's how he has completely established his control. After him, the next important viceroy was from 1529 to 1539, that was Nino da Cunha, done. And it is him under whose guidance area of Diu. So Diu is in the lower part of the Gujarat. Then, so basically that lower part of the Gujarat, if you move a little bit from the Jamnagar, I think 120 kilometers, so then you get to Diu. And Diu is a very beautiful town. मतलब generally लोगों को अब जाओगे नहीं तो पता नहीं चलेगा. But then it's a beautiful town. Then, and coastal roads are very good. So how they got the Diu? Basically what happened that Portuguese were trying from very long time that they must get hands on Diu. But then what happened that on one hand they were trying, they were not successful against the Gujarati ruler Bahadur Shah. On the other hand, there is one more situation which has happened, that Gujarati ruler Bahadur Shah was threatening the queen of the Mewad, Karnavati, then after the death of the ruler. So she has asked a help to Humayun. That help to Humayun, she sent a Rakhi to Humayun to help, and Humayun attacked on Gujarat. Then, so now, looking Humayun at his door, he actually conciliated with the Portuguese and he allowed them that they can build a fort in the Dew. So they can build a fort in Dew and they must help against Humayun. But Humayun also got one more threat from the Sher-Shah Suri, and he has to leave to the leave towards Bihar to fight with the Sher-Shah Suri. Now, he felt that Raja Bahadur Shah felt that he has done a mistake, that he must not have given due to Portuguese. So he made a statement that he will not let Portuguese control due because fight hasn't happened. Only when the fight has happened and they have helped, then only they can get the due. So Portuguese were very offended by it. What they did, that they asked him कि चलो ऐसा तो चलता रहता है, this happens, then that let's not ruin our friendship. They invited him for a dinner on their boat. They took him to the deck of the boat and they threw him into the sea. Then, so that's how they retained their control on due, and completely by 1546 they removed all the agents of the Bahadur Shah. So, from whom they got? Bahadur Shah. This story itself is enough. We do share in the classes, तो इससे याद रहेगा, ठीक है? So it was last year paper. Then next one. Who of the following founded a new city on the banks of a tributary to river Krishna? City का नाम बताओगे बिना देखे हुए, बिना आंसर देखे हुए. I have to do like this. Chalo, tell me, city on the banks of river Krishna, and which is a capital city? Amravati. Krishna pe Vishakhapatnam nahi hai. Vishakhapatnam is port. See that Krishna river is the one which creates the boundary between, only river in India which creates the boundary between two states, and two states are Andhra and Telangana. Okay? So on one side there is a forest, tiger reserve in Telangana side, and on the other side Amravati is there. Then, so let's look at the question. Who of the following founded a new city on the banks of tributary to river Krishna and undertook to rule his new kingdom as the agent of a deity to whom all the lands of the south of the river Krishna was supposed to belong? Kuch bada hi question hai. Then, so new kingdom as the agent of deity. So let's tell you a little bit story of one of the most documented city of medieval India, and one of the most celebrated city of medieval India, and one of the city which even attracts a large chunk of tourists and also amazement from the part of the historian, is the city of Hampi. Then, so city of Hampi. And if you are ever in Bangalore, it's a 4-hour drive from Bangalore. You must visit Hampi. I don't think that any other city matches the level of the things. If you have the imagination of the medieval India, so matches that level. So, and this city was visited by large number of the tourists and travelers, foreign travelers who have documented about it. So Hampi was named after the Devi of that area, and the name of the Devi was Pampa. Okay? So Pampa Devi, so she is the guardian deity or guardian goddess of that area. So it was named after her. Then, and which kingdom? So which kingdom was founded over here in this area? So Hampi was the capital of which kingdom? Vijayanagara. Okay? It was the kingdom that it was the capital of the Vijayanagara kingdom. When was the Vijayanagara kingdom was founded? 1336. And who founded? Harihar I and Bukka Rai I, two brothers. What is the time? 1336. They are contemporary of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. And moreover, they were actually taken as a prisoner by Muhammad bin Tughlaq earlier. And Muhammad bin Tughlaq's behavior itself was very erratic. So what they have done, that to impress him, they mastered the reading of the Quran. And then after, whenever Muhammad bin Tughlaq used to say anything, they quote from the Quran. So Muhammad bin Tughlaq used to be very impressed from them and has given them a very good position in the court. All of a sudden, 1336, there was one news came that from the area of the Hampi, some sort of revolt has happened. And then Muhammad bin Tughlaq was about to send people to crush the revolt, but then he trusted. So these two brothers, they have said, Harihar I and Bukka Raya I, they said, since it is our area, we belong to that place, we know that how to suppress the things and how to bring the things in control. So they went over there and they established their kingdom. Okay? And there was no revolt from this area, but in fact their guru Madhav Deva Ranya, he created a fabricated story that there is a revolt, or kind of orchestrated revolt was created so that they can come back and they can rule from the area. And that's how, in the name of the Devi Pampa, they started ruling from the Hampi. And Vijayanagar kingdom is all below Krishna river. Getting it then? So now let's come to regarding the taxation system of Krishna Deva. The ruler of the Vijayanagar considered the following statements. So Krishna Deva Raya, his timeline is from 1509 to 1529. Some books mention 1530. So these 20 years. He was the most illustrious, highly enlightened ruler of the Indian history. So what is information that they have asked? The tax rates on the land was fixed depending on the quality of the land. Tell me, what is quality of land? Fertility. So it's exactly right, because in the Indian kingdoms, generally this was a normal thing that they are imposing the taxes on the fertility of the land. And in fact, the same model was adopted by Akbar also. When he has come to power, so he has adopted the fertility model, and that model was created by Akbar's minister, Raja Todarmal. So 4 type of the land: Polaj, Parti, Kachhar, Bandar. So these were the different fertility land. So here also the system was there, which is inspiration to many people. Then private owners of the workshops paid an industries tax. So tell that economically Vijayanagar, in fact, all these foreign travelers, for now Nunez has written a lot about it, and so as Domingo Pace, then Duarte Barbosa and Nikitin. Then so a good chunk of the travelers, Abdul Razak, they all came to Vijayanagar and they have all written about the fame of the Vijayanagar. So what they mentioned, ki not only many shops were created, that just like in today's time we see the malls and that's like that the marketplaces were created by the government. And obviously when marketplace is created by the government, so government will take the taxes. So there were taxes then. So there were the taxes which were implied on the people, and people were getting benefit also, and at the same point of time it was a source of income also. So both the informations are correct, and some more information I have added in it, but then time will be there. So now फिर से विजयनगर किंगडम. So what was the last year? 2016 का क्वेश्चन है वो, और उसके पहले what was that? 2015 Vijayanagar, then 2016 Vijayanagar, and then comes 2021 Vijayanagar. So according to the Portuguese writer Fernão Nunes, his name is Fernão Nunes, and the women in Vijayanagar kingdom were expert in which of the following areas? Then so it was interesting question asked by UPSC, and obviously answer is not there. None of these questions, their answers are there in NCERT. So where you find Upinder Singh. So now wrestling, astronomy, accounting and soothsaying. But to remember it, I'll tell you one small story related to it. Raja Vijayanagar kingdom's ruler, Raja Krishnadev Rai, was considered as one of the most enlightened ruler of the history. And in fact, he was all after the upliftment of the women. It is said that he was all after the upliftment of the women because he fell in love with a prostitute. Then entire society, his family was against that, ki how come you get married to a prostitute, but then he got married to prostitute. And then she became a queen, and then she became a defender of the rights of the women in those times, and he did everything which was done by the women to uplift the position of the women. So every position except in some fighting positions, they are not there on the fronts, but rest of the positions they were appointed. So they were wrestling, doing the wrestling also, astronomy also, accounting also, soothsaying also, then they were cashier also, they were auditors also. So majority of these works were given to the women also. Then so it is all because of his orientation, Krishnadev Rai orientation towards upliftment of women. Then all of them are correct in this one. Then, who among the following rulers of Vijayanagar Empire constructed, a last year ka question hai, constructed a large dam across Tungabhadra river and a canal cum aqueduct several kilometers long from the river to the capital city. Then, so it was during the tenure of the Devaraya I. This is also when you are reading the Vijayanagara kingdom. So when we talk about the initiatives of the Vijayanagara ruler, so there it is discussed. It was 24-kilometer aqueduct which was created at that point of time. Then, so that factual question, either you know it or you don't know it over here. And expanse of the Vijayanagara kingdom is given over here. So as you can see that this river, which is starting Vijapur touching and then going, this is what? Krishna. Or ये जो नीचे से river है, that is Tungabhadra. Then, so this is the belt which is entirely Vijayanagara kingdom. Then this is this year question. Modern में रखें या यहाँ रखें, ठीक है. अब spectrum में नहीं दिया तो इसलिए हम लोगों ने इसको medieval में रख दिया. So now, who of the following rulers of the medieval India gave permission to the Portuguese to build a fort at Bhatkal? इसके पहले, let me tell you, in 2022, that question they have kept in the modern, that was related to Goa. Okay? That Albuquerque captured Goa from the Bijapuri ruler in 1510. That was a right statement. 2 साल पहले ये पूछा है. अब 2 साल बाद, then once again, 1510 only. So, Krishnadevaraya, as I told you his timeline, 1509 to 1530. And this is the time that Krishnadevaraya, he needed support of the Portuguese, because one of the adversary of the Portuguese, that Krishnadevaraya is the Bijapuri kingdom. And Bijapuri kingdom was the one which was holding the control on Goa. Then, so Portuguese have got Goa from the Bijapuri ruler. As such, Krishnadevaraya has come closer to them, and the reason that why he came closer, because he wanted horse trade, and horse trade can be done from the western side itself, and Portuguese has control of some of the important ports, and they were good in the horse trade. So that's how he allowed them in 1510 in Karnataka that at Bhatkal they can create a fort, and they helped him against Bijapuri ruler, and so as in the purchasing of the horse also. So this is information related to, once again, Krishnadevaraya. So now you are figuring out who is important from the Vijayanagara. Krishnadevaraya, they are asking very often. Okay? So read more about him when it comes to Krishnadevaraya. Then Bhakti and Sufi movement. So with reference to the cultural history of medieval India, consider the following statements. So it is an old question of 2016, and moreover that in the Bhakti tradition they do ask some of these names very often. So Siddhas or Setars of Tamil region were monotheistic and condemned idolatry, matlab murti puja. And second, Lingayatas of Karnataka region questioned the theory of rebirth and rejected the caste hierarchy. So let's understand about the Siddhas. Then Siddha is considered as that derived from the word Siddhi. Siddhi matlab that they have acquired those power to connect with the God. So Siddhas were basically Saiva saints of the Tamil Nadu. Saiva matlab Lord Shiva's devotees. So they, through their meditations and through their different postures, they try to connect with the God, but they were never indulged in the idol worship, and they believed the common thing between the Siddhas and Lingayata that they believe only Lord Shiva is the ultimate reality. Then तो दोनों के लिए एक common है that they believe Lord Shiva is the ultimate reality, there is no other reality. But then both of them, they don't worship the idol. Okay? They don't visualize Lord Shiva in an idol form, but Siddhas believe him in a kind of a non-idol form, and Lingayatas believe in small linga form which they put on their this area. ठीक है? तो मुझे याद नहीं आ रहा उसको क्या बोलते हैं, ठीक है? But then no, some sort of that emulate they armlet they will create, ठीक है? And then in that small linga they will be keeping, they will be coating it with the silver, and then after they will be binding with the thread. So they always carry this linga. So Lingayat movement started from 12th century AD, and the founder was Baswana. And Lingayatas also believe in Lord Shiva as the ultimate reality, but in fact Lingayatas go on to say that at the time of the death, body gets united with the Lord Shiva. So they don't believe in these all rebirth theory, and Lingayatas were progressive. They were against caste system, they were against any rigidity in the society, they were against any discrimination against the women, and they were also against the marriages before before puberty. Puberty, understand? That before that mature stage has come. Before that, if the marriage is happening, that's not right. So they favored that marriages must happen after puberty. So Lingayata are kind of more often repeated information. सिद्धास के बारे में इतना जल्दी जल्दी इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं आता है. वाई लिंगायताज से रिलेटेड इन्फॉर्मेशन बहुत जल्दी आता है? बिकॉज लिंगायत कॉन्स्टिट्यूट 26% पॉपुलेशन ऑफ कर्नाटका. And in fact, previous chief minister of the Karnataka, that what is his name, Yadurappa, okay, he was also a Lingayat, and they are a very influential community in Karnataka. Then, so in fact, whenever there is some sort of elections in Karnataka, Lingayat politics happens. Then, the Lingayatas are often asked, and I don't think that it will be difficult for you if you read Lingayata to solve this type of the question. So in May, both of them correct. Then Bhakti say, so this is also something where the chronology part comes to the play. Consider the following statement. Saint Nimbark was the contemporary of Akbar. So Saint Nimbark, understand his timeline, he was actually the disciple of Ramanujacharya. Ramanujacharya, where we study about him, 11th century AD, who was the founder of the Visishta Advaita Vada philosophy. And he is also associated with the biggest temple of India in today's time. What is it? Sriranganatha Swami Temple, Srirangam. Then, so his disciple was Nimbark. So he is also in 12th century, 11th century to 12th century. What is the timeline of Akbar? 1542 to 1605. 300 साल का अंतर है. First one, incorrect. Saint Kabir was greatly influenced by Sheikh Ahmad Sarhindi. Sheikh Ahmad Sarhindi was the Sufi saint of Haryana. Okay? And Sheikh Ahmad Sarhindi was in the middle of the 17th century, not before that. And what is the timeline of Kabir? 300 साल का अंतर है. It is said that Kabir was born somewhere around 1348, and then he survived for more than 140 years, people say. So he died somewhere very closer to 1500, somewhere around 1490. तो लगभग 200 से 250 साल का अंतर है. Then both of it. So here also you just एक हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना कि I don't know, that in a cursory fashion you just look at the timeline 3-4 times, you will be tend to remember. और हिंदी में बोलते हैं सरसरी निगाह से 4-5 बार देख लो तो it will stay in your memory. Your subconscious mind will come to play. So that's about this question. Then Mughals we will start tomorrow. ठीक है? So I am just stopping the session over here. अब कोई सवाल हो तो पूछ लो, otherwise keep it for tomorrow. Then, but do come. हाँ पूछो. लिंगायत क्या बोल रहे हैं? अब मुझे सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है. सेगड़ी नहीं होता, मैं बता रहा हूँ. लिंगायत्स, द वॉन्डरिंग monks of the Lingayat are called as Jangama. Then they are called as Jangama, and their writings. सुन लो, he has asked a question about the Lingayats. Just 1 minute. So they used to write their preachings, ठीक है, in Kannada language, and their preachings were called as Vachanas. Then, so their wandering monks are called as Jangamas, and their preachings is called as Vachanas. And Vachanas were written, or Vachan Sahitya भी बोलते हैं, they were written in the Kannada language. एक और information which I believe that maybe in the upcoming year it will be important. Lingayats has the tradition of convening a parliament. Then, and what is parliament? Religious parliament. So they call it Anubhava Mantap. Then, so Anubhav Mantap is a place where they were inviting people of different faith, different thought process to have religious discussion and deliberation. And there was hell lot of acceptance कि even if you disagree with my view, I respect you. You disagree with my my statement, I respect you. So this was the tradition. Last year नहीं, इसी year 2023-24 के beginning में, in January itself, our Prime Minister, he went to Karnataka and he inaugurated one Anubhav Mandap. So remember this one. And what is the importance of it? Because in Akbar's time, we study about Ibadat Khana. And Ibadat Khana is the place of the religious discussion and deliberation with the representatives of all religion. So, if a question comes that whose parliament, religious parliament was first, so always go with the Lingayata. Lingayatas were first and second was the Akbar. Okay? Done? Chalo. So, we'll start with the Mughals time tomorrow.